My partner's mother spread lies about me and my stepdaughter, so I cut her off.
As you should.
So, I, 27 female, have been with my fiance, 37 male, for nearly 6 years. I'm currently 8 months pregnant, and we also share 2 small children, both under 3, and I have 3 stepchildren, all teens, from my partner's first marriage. By the way, this comes from user unapologetically me28, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, where this story was submitted. This is one of our own, one of our ours. So, shout out to you. Hope you're listening to this. I'm Keon.
And I'm Savannah.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So please let us know what you would do in the comments, especially for one of our own. OP says, for context, we have custody of all of the children, so all our babies are under one roof. We don't have a huge home, but it can accommodate us with more than enough room. Our oldest 2 boys share a room, and our 2 smallest boys share a room, leaving our baby girl with her own bedroom. Recently, my partner's mother, 65 female, came to stay with us while waiting for her new apartment to be ready for moving in, and oh boy, was it a mistake.
It always is.
Within the first week of being at our home, she began rearranging my daughter's bedroom while she was at school, claiming it needed to be cleaned better. Called me a terrible and lacking mother because I answered a FaceTime call while nursing my baby. The first major problem began when my partner's brother, 43 male, also decided to come visit us for a few days. More like 2 months of him coming and going as he pleased, treating my home like a motel. He is known for being unable to hold a job and overstaying his welcome, but because it's his family, I kept my opinions to myself and let my partner handle the situation. Sounds like he didn't handle it. One morning, I woke up to my partner's mother in the kitchen cooking his brother breakfast so he could go out and look for work. She offered me a plate, to which I politely declined, stating I wasn't that hungry, but I did ask what she made. She said she used the hamburger meat and eggs in the fridge and some tortillas we had in the pantry. She asked me if I needed the hamburger meat for anything, to which I answered, well, I was gonna make spaghetti later for the kids, but it's fine. I can see what else we got in the freezer. Apparently, in the 2 minutes it took to answer the question, I completely offended her and was food watching and being greedy with our food because she was there and I made her feel like a burden, and I made her and her oldest feel unwelcome. This was never a conversation she had with me. This was all brought up to my partner, and I was the only one made aware after she and her son left and went to visit her daughter, 39 female, for a few days to get away from the drama. What?
That's like, it's like your house. You didn't even overstep. If anything, she's overstepping by moving everything around and then also being like, oh, by the way, did you need this? Like, after already, like, using it. And then, like, has the audacity to be like, she's annoying. She's, watching me do everything. Yeah, it's her house, and she has to feed, everyone in that house. So, yes.
Also, extremely rude to use people's food without asking first.
It's true.
I find that genuinely rude. If she asked you and you're like, yeah, you can use it, great, but she cooked it without even asking.
Yeah, I also find that, like, rude.
I was so lost at how she came to that conclusion from the 2 sentences I said until my partner explained her reasoning. His mother grew up in a dysfunctional household and ended up in foster care with all her siblings, and from childhood to adulthood, when she would stay in other people's homes, they would constantly tell her not to touch their food or use their things, and even make her leave the home when they weren't there, so she constantly has that in the back of her head. I mean, that's also genuinely fair if she asked to use somebody else's food. Like, if you're living in a
Yeah.
house and you bought that food, it's your food. But if you're living with people, I don't know. The foster care is one thing, but I think it's just a genuine consideration.
And you're also just, like, staying there for free, I understand, like, maybe she was cooking a meal for everyone or whatnot, but I mean, like, still, like, I just feel like you're still a guest.
Yeah.
You have to ask. You didn't pay for this food unless you're giving them, like, money or something in order to, like, be like, hey, I know I'm staying for free and I know I'm a burden, so, like, here's, something to help out and whatnot. Then that makes sense. But if you're not actually paying for it and then just taking it and then just being like, is this all right? After you already did it, it's like, okay, well, obviously you don't care, so why even ask?
I don't know. Sounds like the mom has some unresolved trauma that needs to be looked at.
That
maybe
too.
maybe a therapist or something. So I took her feelings into consideration and allowed her to come back and hopefully start fresh. Bigger mistake.
Oh, no.
After she came back, it was a constant issue if I don't do enough around the house or I don't cater to the kids as much as she would like, or I don't cater to her son and I don't do enough for him when he gets home from work. Mind you, I'm pregnant. 8 months, by the way, and
Literally about to
constantly
pop.
and also constantly chasing two toddlers around the house. The occasion that really caused the rift was when I asked my daughter for help with the dishes. We have a pretty normal routine where my baby girl does the simple dishes, plates, cups, bowls, and silverware, and I do the pots and pans, and we finish the rest of the kitchen. We follow this routine daily, and it helps us keep up with everything without feeling overwhelmed. My daughter had just came home from school, and as usual, I reminded her, "Hey, baby doll, don't forget when you get comfortable and finish your schoolwork, you have dishes to do." My partner's mother decided to insert herself and ask, "She just got home from school. Why can't you just do it yourself and let her relax?" "Why don't you just get out of the house, mother?"
Yeah, there's a routine happening, and also, like, it's really not like, that's actually really responsible of her to, like, be like, "Get your stuff done, do whatever you need to do, and then when you have time, come do what the family needs you to do. Come do your part."
It's a
You know?
daily routine and it's a very cute routine that you and your daughter are doing this together, and you have set this amount. I set this up. I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with it. If she came home from work and you yelled at your daughter, that's one thing. But it seemed like it was very, very fine.
Yeah, it's just like hey, when you have time, like, just do what we always do,
She's like,
like,
yeah, you did you go do your schoolwork. We'll do dishes and we'll hang out later. I don't know where this mom has the
Yeah.
audacity. I was taken aback because we've always had this routine, and my daughter has never complained. So I stated, "Because I'm currently dealing with two screaming toddlers who need to take a nap, and I could use my daughter's help. She doesn't have to do it right away, but she knows that she has a chore to do, just like her older brothers and myself. This is my home, and if I ask my child to do her chores, I don't need a reason for her to handle her responsibilities."
Wow, well said, mom, well said.
And I guarantee you, fiance's mom is gonna be upset with that.
Oh, yeah, there's no way she can be like, "You're right."
My older boys have chores as well. My oldest son, 19 male, handles the dogs. My second oldest son, 18 male, handles the trash and on occasion will clean their bathroom with his sister's help. My daughter, 13 female, only has to do her half of the dishes, and all three keep up with their own bedrooms. When I respond to my partner's mother, she blew up at me, yelling that I'm using her granddaughter to clean so that I can be lazy and just deal with the babies instead of being a good woman and handling all of the cooking and cleaning and children like she did. I didn't respond at first and let her continue yelling at me as I secretly dialed my partner's phone number. He heard about 3 to 4 minutes of her ranting and judging me before I finally raised the phone up to my ear and said, "Okay, so you heard all of that, right?" And I hit the speaker button. Instantly, the mood changed and she began backtracking, saying, "Why would you call him at work? You're being so dramatic and rude. I was talking to you." I started talking only to my partner on the phone, saying that on multiple occasions, she has spoken to me disrespectfully and constantly belittled me, and I wanted him to finally hear how I'm spoken to in my own home, and he blew up.
As he should, because that's crazy, and honestly, good for you, OP, for being like, "Oh, yeah, you heard all that? Yeah, go ahead." Like, he's here
Keep
too,
going.
because
Keep going.
yeah,
I'm worried. Hopefully, like, this is all good, but he says he blew up. He didn't say who he blew up towards to.
that's true, and also in front of, like, the kids might be a little, like, too much.
Also, hey, mother-in-law, future mother-in-law, if you don't want to see the kids doing the dishes, why don't you help out a little bit?
You got her there, you got her there.
Oh, well, looks like it's going to be positive. He told
Woo!
his mother we would all talk when he got home, and she continued to try and minimize the conversation, saying, "That was so uncalled for. We could have just talked. You don't need to involve my son. You're so hormonal. There's no need to get worked up. You just get stress out of the baby." I ignored her and hung up the phone, grabbed my toddlers, and walked to my bedroom, locking the door behind me. My partner arrived about an hour later, and within a few hours, she was packed and going to visit her daughter again to get some space from me. All right. Eventually, she moved into her new apartment, and we all went to help her unpack. Well, as luck would have it, the apartment she found was actually in our apartment complex. She was over nearly every day.
Oh, no. They didn't know, like, at all? They didn't ask, like, "Oh, where are you moving? Where,"
"Oh,
whatever.
I'm nearby. I'm
Yeah,
nearby." Like a couple minutes. Like a drive? No,
No, like
a
downstairs.
crawl. I'm a couple minute crawl down the hall.
You don't even have to take the elevator. Just walk 2 flights.
Boy. I was friends with my next door neighbor, and suddenly after one day she spent with my partner's mother, she stopped talking to me and started talking about how fake I was as a friend, causing a huge confrontation. Apparently, she was told by my partner's mother that I was talking behind her back, and now she refuses to speak to me. This was not even remotely true. After this, they started hanging out constantly, excluding me completely. She even started asking my partner to not bring me around when he would go over there, not to bring me to the store with them when she needed to go, or just to take her, then come back for me. She even asked him to bring the kids over to her apartment, but leave me at home, to which my partner refused, telling her that it's not respectful to me, as the kids' mother, to bring them somewhere I'm not welcome. Eventually, my kids' bio mom picked her up to spend a weekend with her and the older kids, but when she brought them back, the kids' bio mom said she needed to speak with me and my partner. She came inside and started screaming at me, accused me of calling my daughter a little B word and mistreating her. None of this ever happened.
That's crazy. Where is this going?
Apparently, his mother heard from our neighbor that I called her out of her name all the time and forced her to clean the house against her will. I've never called my daughter out of her name, and my daughter even clarified that to her bio mom while on their visitation, but my partner's mother kept egging her on, asking her why her friend would lie about something so horrible. We all talked and finally came to the conclusion that she was starting problems to create a break in our healthy co-parenting relationship because her son was obviously not taking her side. After talking to her, we just left it at we're all the parents and we shouldn't let other people start drama in our arrangement. We thankfully got past the situation, and that enraged his mother, so she then began involving her daughter, partner's sister, who called me accusing me of trying to alienate her mother from her own son.
This is oh god, there's too many levels to this.
First of all, how did we allow the mother to live in the same complex as everyone?
Yeah, like the mom moving in literally probably a few doors down or upstairs, downstairs, whatever. That plus then, bio mom coming over and being like, "Oh, someone's telling or the mom obviously telling her or hearing whatever," but then also involving the neighbor and then also involving bio mom's sister. It's just there's too many people involved for no reason. Just this stays between family, and I just don't understand why everyone's getting involved.
I would talk to your fiance OP and be like, "You see what she's doing, right?
True.
Can we straighten this out with everybody?" I feel like we should just have just a list ready to go of or just just a paragraph of all right, to whom this may concern, she lies a lot. Stop believing what she says. We have it on recordings or witnesses. Stop this. Don't listen to her. Not worth your time. She's a liar. Apparently, her mother called her crying that I was turning her son against her, and no one would listen to her. I wonder why. She told the same story to her daughter about me calling my daughter out of her name. I don't want my kids around any of them. I've never had an issue with my partner's sister until this point. Everything I told her was, in her opinion, an excuse and deflecting from the fact that I just didn't want her mother around. Then when I refused to entertain the narrative, she complained that at my son's birthday party, I didn't speak to her enough and spent more time with my own mother than her and hers.
Well, yes. I
Yeah.
don't understand. That's her family, and maybe she doesn't see her mom often, and now, mother-in-law is, now sitting right next to her every day.
Well,
So,
get ready for this.
oh no.
I hardly ever see my mother, whereas his family is closer and we see them more often, so I was just trying to spend more time with my own mom.
I called it.
Calls it as she sees it. Then it became an issue of I'm pushing their mother away because I don't want her in the picture. I naturally just wanted to keep my distance to avoid the stress it was causing me during my pregnancy.
My god, I completely forgot.
I did
completely
too.
forgot she was pregnant, and that's just sick. It's sick to do to someone while they're
Mm.
literally having a baby, creating life inside of
She's
them.
just creating more stress for you. We hung up with little to no resolution. At that point, I decided to cut off all communication with his mother. Fast forward about 2 months to October, Our oldest son is a father of a beautiful baby girl, 2 female, named Jade. Jade was having a birthday party on Sunday, but my partner's sister was hosting a birthday dinner for herself at her son Carlo's house on Saturday night. Carlo contacted my partner to invite us, which we contemplated for a day, before my partner decided he wasn't comfortable going and bringing me and the kids around his mother yet, and called to let his nephew know we wouldn't make it, but we would see them at Jade's party the next day. They were all invited to Jade's birthday, so we would have to see them at the party, but my partner said that party would be less intimate and we'd have a better chance of avoiding drama. Our oldest son kept asking if my partner's family was still coming, and that's when we realized the party was almost over and they still weren't there.
Whatever. Good riddance, honestly. I'd be like, okay, cool. You just made it like a lot nicer of a party.
Yeah, less drama. So my partner stepped outside to call and check on them, and that's when the floodgates opened with chaos.
Oh no.
Apparently, I somehow convinced my 19-year-old not to bring his siblings and girlfriend and their daughter to the last-minute birthday party they held the night before Jade's birthday party, and that's why no one showed up. Mind you, this was my son and daughter-in-law's first time throwing a birthday party for Jade without any help from us. We were scrambling to get her favors, decorations, and all of our outfits together, so we just decided to focus on getting ready for Jade's party the next day, and when we got back home, the kids said they decided to do the same because the next day would be hectic if nothing was done, and we tried to do it all last minute. Somehow, that decision paired with the fact that the older kids didn't call to inform them they weren't going to make it was enough to convince them that I made them stay home to be spiteful and didn't allow them to go to the dinner party. My son has his own car and phone, and we trust him to make his own decisions on where he goes as long as he checks in. However, somehow I kept them from going to be petty and ruin her birthday dinner, so in retaliation, they skipped Jade's second birthday party. So these are just all petty people.
Yeah. Just seems like they really don't care for others, especially like even, family or whatever, I don't know if they consider you family or whatever, but like, it just seems like they really just care about themselves and are just like, oh, well, she always causes problems.
Yeah. This side of the family sounds so exhausting, OP. My partner's sister, their mother, his nephew, and wife and kids all skipped the birthday party and didn't even call to tell anyone they weren't coming. My son was beyond hurt and felt so heartbroken that they ghosted him and his daughter, but we didn't dwell on it long and ended up having a blast, and she loved her party regardless. When my partner came back from the call with his sister, he was nearly in tears and mad beyond belief that they would ghost our granddaughter on her birthday and then try to turn it on me, making it my fault they decided to be petty back when no one was trying to be petty at all, and we just wanted to focus on making her party perfect. And by the way, you know what's perfect? You. But it'd be even more perfect if you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. We have a little bit left here. Let's go and finish this up. It was at this point he cut off his sister as well, and since then we have had no contact with both. Gonna be a lesson learned. Now the whole family is accusing me of turning my partner against them and using my kids as pawns to hurt them because I'm preventing them from creating a bond with my boys, and I most likely won't give them a chance to meet our new child when he arrives. My older kids still go visit their grandma. I just don't send the babies because they can be a handful with the terrible twos, and I don't want to make my kids have to deal with them alone because I refuse to go. My partner agrees with me keeping the babies at home, but am I the a-hole for refusing to be around my partner's family or bring my kids around them? No. No.
Not at all.
Not at all. Especially for your sanity and how toxic they are and manipulative. You don't want to have that environment or raise your kids in that environment to show, like, this is not a healthy environment to be around. So I don't think you are an a-hole. And from what we've heard from you, OP, you already have so much on your plate, and they're adding like 50 other plates to it. Not worth it.
I refuse to announce my pregnancy because I know how judgmental my family is. As my secret, I, 40 female, just recently found out that I'm pregnant. Like 8 months pregnant at this point.
Dang.
You
just
recently found
you were
out?
8 months pregnant? That's like, you're ready to pop, girly. That's actually like Cryptic pregnancies are wild to me.
Terrifying. I
Yeah.
think it's so
No,
terrifying.
so scary. To
Yeah.
have like 1 month to be like,
You're like, oh shoot.
we got a baby prep. I have to
Yeah.
figure out how to be a mom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That does not sound pleasant.
My fiance, 40 male, and I weren't ever planning on having children. I have never wanted kids of my own and have always been upfront about this with my family and friends. By the way, this comes from totally diagnosing you, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So, OP says, due to a series of bizarre medical events, I ended up pregnant despite long-term use of very effective, for me, birth control.
Also terrifying.
Yeah, that's what I always hear all the time, the IUD babies. But it's other birth control too, but
They find a way.
terrifying. But also, she says, very effective for me. Clearly not. Clearly not.
Clearly not.
I didn't know because a medication masked basically all the symptoms of early pregnancy. It was a fluke
my
that I
God.
found out at 28 weeks, and it wasn't a happy surprise. I spent several days in complete hysteria.
Fair.
Now, a month later, I have come to terms for the most part.
All right.
At this point, there's nothing to do but finish this strange and unplanned journey. My fiance and I have decided to pursue adoption through a very good agency. We're doing all the right things for the baby medically, and we think we're doing the right thing with the adoption as well. We believe that kids deserve a family who is excited for them and delighted by them, and we can't give this child that experience. So here's where we may be the a-holes. We have told only the people closest to us about the pregnancy and our plans. This includes our closest friends and confidants, but only includes 2 members of my family, namely 2 that I thought would support us without pressuring us to do anything aside from what we've chosen. We're both close to my family as a whole, but they can be pushy. The other members of my extended family are very religious and honestly pretty judgmental. I think they would probably mean well, but would actually end up stressing both myself and my fiance out during a time that's already stressful. Of course, that means shutting them out of everything. No part in the birth, no information about the adoption, nothing. I know this would hurt them if they knew, but I think protecting my peace is priority right now. Am I the a-hole? And there are some comments, but
No.
yeah.
Giving a child up for adoption is already an incredibly emotional time. So
Totally.
just no.
Just when we just found out
Yeah,
about it like a
dude.
month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're good.
Mm-hmm.
This is an edit to answer some common questions. My fiance and I are seeing and will continue to see a counselor to help us navigate this process and make the best decisions for ourselves and the baby. No, we are not going to let anyone in our family adopt our child. I don't think that would be the best decision for anyone for many reasons. I didn't ask if I was the a-hole for choosing adoption, and I'm not interested in opinions on this. It isn't an easy decision, but it's the one we've come to. Please stick to the topic. We are not planning to keep this a secret from these parts of our families forever. We, as a couple who is going through an extremely stressful time, want time to get through the last few weeks of my pregnancy, the birth, and the postpartum processing that we need.
If they get mad, you can just tell them you only knew for 1 month.
Yeah, right? Like, we didn't even know. Like,
We didn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're super aware of DNA testing and how secrets work, and that they don't. Once we have some room to breathe, we'll sit everyone down and explain our decisions. But months 8 to 9 of a high-risk pregnancy isn't the time to have my very religious family members breathing down my neck. And there are some comments. But from that, I honestly feel like you have your answer, though.
Yeah.
Like,
You
you know what you want to do. I don't think it
Mhm.
really matters if you're an a-hole or not.
No.
I think it's,
Not that you are.
yeah, definitely, I would say no, for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's an incredibly personal decision.
yeah, and you know what you want to do, so I don't think it matters.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have some comments. Fun War 7353 says, if you are arranging an adoption without any further contact for you with the baby, then there is no point in telling the family. This is, at least said, soonest mended situation. OP says, we're still making those decisions. If we do have contact, we will sit down both of our extended families and tell them. Large Client 6024 says, not the a-hole. Tell whomever you want to, when you want to. Just beware that if you wait too long, someone else may spill the beans and disrupt your timetable. That's a good point. Wrong Pen 6179 says, as someone who is adopted, I had to wait until New York State unsealed the records to try finding my birth parents. I just wanted to find out if there was any medical history to know of and to say thank you for making the decision to put me up for adoption as opposed to the other choice and let them know that I had amazing parents and a wonderful childhood/life so far. Unfortunately, my bio mom was already deceased and no luck finding my bio dad. So even if you don't want to keep in contact, they may want this info.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, I've never gone through this situation. I think that whenever you go through the adoption process, you should always be providing those those relevant medical information, because for a kid to not know their medical information is so incredibly dangerous. To not know that you have a history, like to go to the doctors and for them to be like, do you have a history of cancer? Do you have a history of,
Always say yes, by the way. Even if you don't, always say yes.
Well, yeah, you want them to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably getting all of this information anyway, but I do recommend always sharing that medical information.
Also, when I found my mom, it was pretty wild seeing someone who looked like me for the first time in my whole life. OPU responds, "Thank you for this comment. I'm so glad you've had a wonderful life and family. We've filled out tons of paperwork for the agency, including exhaustive medical histories for our families, mine especially because I have close relationships with them. We're still deciding on how much contact and involvement we'll have, but this really helps."
Yeah.
And OP replied to a very long comment. "It isn't so much that I think I wouldn't be a good parent. I adopted my stepson when he was 8 and did an okay job if I say so myself. There's just a lot in my life right now that isn't compatible with a baby. I have a hectic and demanding job. Our financial situation would be heavily strained. I have a lovely family that would try to support me in the best way they could, but probably would not be able to actually help much. And while I had a good childhood, I'm rather like my own mother and would probably provide a chaotic childhood for my daughter, which wouldn't be ideal. I know, I had one. Weird, messy, still full of love, but not what I want for my baby." We do have an update from 22 days later.
This kid is out.
Baby is here.
Baby is here.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything new to add.
Hello, everyone. I recently posted about my 40 female unplanned pregnancy and how I didn't want to tell certain members of my family because myself and my fiance, had decided to pursue an adoption. And by the way, I hope you pursue listening to full episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime.
Pursue it.
Pursue it. There's a little bit more to the story. Due to medical complications, our baby ended up being born at 35 weeks. Ow. Luckily, we were able to get to the amazing hospital with specialists that we needed prior to her delivery. We had a little girl, and from the time they laid her on my chest in the delivery room, I knew I was in trouble. So
I think I know where this is going.
yeah.
Which is, I think that is a case with a lot of adoptions, or like a lot of parents who, are thinking about the adoption process. And then, of course, having the birth of a child is an incredibly, emotional process, obviously.
Yeah.
And also just releases a lot of hormones because that, like, biologically,
Yeah, like
you need
your
hormones that
brain-
say, like, you like this baby, take care of it.
Yeah, literally.
So, yeah, that makes sense. And I
Yeah.
think
Brain literally changes.
it's never an easy process to go through an adoption as a parent.
So, after a lot of talking between my fiance and myself, we've decided not to go through with the adoption and instead keep our baby.
No!
I'm glad you guys, were able to make
Oh
that
my
decision.
gosh.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna have to tell your parents.
Yeah.
And now you'll have to tell people.
But
Surprise birthday.
crazier to, like, I mean, obviously you didn't know that you were going to keep the baby, but now it's absolutely a crazy thing to go to your family members who didn't know and be like,
Yeah.
so we have a baby.
Just walk in with the stroller and
Yeah.
everything.
And they're like, you're
like,
pregnant? And you're like, no.
Now's your time to do a real surprise
Yeah.
birthday on the guests. Though.
Yeah.
Like that never happens. You never
Yeah.
like get to know a friend and
Yeah.
then you're like, surprise, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Dude,
now-
that's a good skit.
You know
Like,
what I
you
mean? Now
send
you
out-
can do that.
You send out, like, first birthday invites, and they're like, who's this for?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, our baby.
Surprise!
And they're like, what? And you're like, what are you talking about? We've always had this baby.
Yeah, like you're crazy,
Yeah.
actually. We're a stable couple with good jobs, reliable housing, and a great support system, so we're equipped to do this. And yes, I've finished notifying all family members. They all took it very well, considering the circumstances. And we do have a comment that says, I'm glad they were able to come to this decision themselves without their family's inputs. Too often, especially young people who want to give up a child for adoption, meet with great resistance from family members who offer promises of help and a village. All too often, those offers run dry pretty soon, and the struggling parents are just expected to suck it up and adapt because that's what parents do. At least they're old enough to make an informed decision about whether or not this is something that they can realistically do. And I totally agree. And that they have like jobs too.
Yeah, I mean, these are like, people that are in their 40s, maybe she's in her late 30s. But, these are people that are financially equipped for this, clearly have some family members at least who are supportive and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think what I really like is that they kind of went through everything and were like, okay, we don't necessarily or didn't necessarily want this kid. We weren't kind of thinking about that. Are we able to give this child the life that the kid deserves? And kind of went through all of that before.
But that's the end of that story.
My mother made me wear a hot dog costume as a kid and laughed about it.
Diabolical.
It sounds pretty funny, my guy. I hate to break it to you. So there's this new thing, there's this new commercial going around where a little girl dresses as a hot dog. And it came on while my family was watching a scary movie. I am 20,
so funny.
female, and home from college for the weekend, and brought my boyfriend, and my mother, 57, female, decided it would be hilarious to mention that she had made me a hot dog costume as a kid. Except the way she told the story, it was at my request. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Halloween Red. And OP says, she said that all the girls wanted to be Disney princesses, but I had asked to be a hot dog. So she had gone out of her way to make me that costume. This is not what happened, and I said as much. What actually happened is that I wanted to be Snow White and had told everyone, including the teachers, that I was going to be Snow White. I was obsessed with that movie as a kid to the point where I would actually get invested in doing chores because I was cleaning up just like Snow White.
Period.
My dad and I would watch that movie all the time, and I was very excited to be Snow White for Halloween. Especially because my ballet studio was doing a special princess dance for Halloween, and we had all signed up for special princess slots. And I had shown up early with my dad the week before so I could get to be Snow White.
Okay, listen, but best way to steal a show is if everyone's in a princess costume doing the dance and you are in a hot dog costume. I feel like I've seen something like that online.
Yeah.
Like, you are going to be a viral sensation. You're going to be a star, dude.
You're going to be a star in that hot dog costume. My mother decided that she wanted to be quirky and that Snow White was a bad role model after I got in trouble for trying to cook dinner for my family. Snow White is a bad role model. Wrap it up, kids.
Bad role model. She speaks in too high of a voice.
And she eats poison apples that mysterious ladies get. And that's a bad example. You're going to teach kids to eat apples from strange ladies.
All she does is sleep all day and hang out with, like
she's lazy and she likes dwarves
and animals.
She was taking advantage of those 7
flag
dwarves.
or a red flag?
Green flag? Yeah, red flag or green flag.
Red flag or green flag? She
animals.
sleeps all day.
That would be Sleeping Beauty, I believe.
But
she do be napping.
Doesn't Snow White also do that?
Probably.
I don't know.
She gets tired from all those chores.
I was about 8, and I tried to make hot dogs, like how she made food for the dwarves in the movie, and I made a mess. My mom surprised me on the day of with this crappy hot dog suit, and told me if I did not wear it, she would never let me watch Snow White again.
Oh my god. What? This is terrible.
Does your mom look like the witch from Snow White? 'Cause she's acting like it.
Literally. She's literally the evil queen. Oh my gosh.
She took 1,000,000 pictures. The other girls teased me for months, and it was one of the most humiliating moments of my childhood. I told the real story and mentioned that I got through the day by pretending that she was the evil queen making me dress in rags, but the rags happened to be a garbage meat costume.
What? It wasn't even a good hot dog costume. It was just
garbage.
slapped together hot dog costume.
Just looked like meat.
Like you're kind of like a gas station hot dog.
You're just
Yeah.
a bad dog. She got really quiet after that. And after we left, my brother says she was crying and looking at the pictures from that Halloween. I did not want to make my mom cry, but it is a memory for me, and it felt like she was trying to humiliate me all over again in front of my boyfriend. Am I the a-hole?
Did she like?
nah.
Did she also like just take out the hot dog costume out of the closet and he's like, remember this?
Just like wiping her tears with it.
Yeah, and there are some comments here. Comment 1, not the a-hole. Wow, what a bad move by your mom and to an 8-year-old. I'm glad you told the truth and stood up for yourself. I hope she learns. Jeez Louise, what a witch. I'm sorry that happened. OP says, I hadn't thought about it in ages until I saw that commercial, honestly. Just awoke your trauma.
That
Just
commercial still exists.
hot dog,
Yeah.
hot dog.
It was like a sleeper
Ah!
agent.
Yeah.
Mustard, relish,
Oh my gosh.
ketchup.
Sorry. I don't know what that was. A reply says, letting your parents pretend that everything they did was perfect is a terrible way to approach your adult parent-child relationship. We, the parents, need to hear about this to reconcile our self-image with who we were to you, the children. My own parents are still pretty crappy about admitting to the past. Denial is quite a habit, so I don't really bother anymore. However, I make a point of telling my kid that I probably messed up plenty. I've asked him to tell me about it when those memories come up for him. We've had a couple of hard, painful conversations about times I've hurt him. They're important for him to get out there. It's cathartic to say it out loud. I sincerely believe that it helps heal our inner child when our parents affirm our version of memories and soothe our hurts. I agree.
Totally.
Parents aren't perfect. You should be able to own that. You're not a perfect parent. You didn't
Yeah.
do everything right. Comment 2, not the a-hole. She clearly had a different perspective and you just said it straight. Just because someone cries doesn't mean they're the victim in this,
True.
especially if the truth is that not only did you not want to wear the hot dog, but she threatened your favorite movie as a result.
Yeah.
Wear this or else? Like, what?
That's crazy.
If this is true, it's pretty weird and messed up. I would never force a costume on my child. That is such a weird butt thing to do. OP says she hated Snow White
Oh my gosh.
and Cinderella and Aurora.
Whoa.
She was kind of okay with Belle, probably because she was French, and really pushed Mulan and Merida on me. But those weren't the ones I was interested in.
Wasn't Merida like really further down the line?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really further
I think we
down the
skipped
line.
a couple princesses there, but
Skipped a couple generations there. She generally hated everything I liked and was really into the whole Cinderella ate my daughter thing.
What thing is
What is
that?
that?
I've never heard of that thing.
She wanted us to be allies against the other moms of the town we lived in, and I just wanted her to be like the other moms, honestly, because they were nicer.
Jeez. this is wild.
What's up with this mom? Like, what is she? Why does she want to be against all the other moms? She's like, yeah, me and my child against the world. We're gonna start feuds at 8 years old. All of them like princesses. You can't.
It's you and me versus the whole neighborhood, babe.
Yeah.
We have an update. There was not actually that much fallout from the whole situation, and I kind of forgot about it for a few months until I saw that dang hot dog ad again.
I
And
knew
it
it.
all came flooding back, and I was in a fugue state. I froze, and I couldn't move. I
Has
was
Oak-
just a hot dog.
Has OP not seen a hot dog ever since? Like,
My mom was a little awkward the next few times we saw each other, but that was all back to normal by Christmas. It did not destroy our relationship, and I realized that a lot of my fears were just anxiety and overthinking, clouding my mind. My brother made a few snide remarks, but I did not get or give an apology, and I figured that was that. However, last weekend, my mom picked me up from work and took me to her place, saying she had a surprise, and I should shower and do my hair fancy. Is she gonna do it again? Is she gonna do this to you again?
I'm excited for what it is.
She had all the nicest skincare and hair stuff laid out, which means a lot because she had never been into that stuff. And when I was done, she surprised me with the most gorgeous Snow White dress I have ever seen.
Aww.
But she's not, she's doing a good one.
Yeah.
She's doing the good one now.
I'm not falling for it yet. I'm not.
I
I'm not
totally
yet.
am. I think this is great.
Right? And then everyone else is going to be dressed up as a hot dog, and you're going to feel left out.
And then you get to sit on the throne and laugh at all.
And they
Someone-
say, I I hope you enjoy being the queen of hot dogs. Blah, 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 blah. It is genuinely stunning quality, and I could not believe it was actually for me. She was all dressed up as the Wicked Queen, too, with the cowl and everything. I'm starting to sense maybe a little hostility. And she took me to see the new movie together.
Aww.
Okay, never mind. I guess this is good. This is good, I guess.
This is cute.
This is good.
Yeah.
This is all right. I like this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. When I tell you I almost cried,
No.
I am not exaggerating. It was one of the best days I have ever had with her, and I felt like a legit princess. When little girls came up and asked for pictures, I swear I have never enjoyed anything that much. I might actually try to get a job as a party princess if I can swing it,
Yes.
just because of how great this experience was. After the movie, which, by the way, is better than most people are saying, I hated the new love interest, but Rachel really crushed it. She apologized for not taking my feelings into consideration when I was younger, and explained that she has always wanted me to feel like I could be anyone I wanted to be, even if they're not a hot dog.
I guess I'll allow it if you don't want to be a hot dog. Fine.
And did not have to conform, but what she did ended up being a form of formed confirmation itself.
A
And-
form of formed?
A form of formed.
Whoa.
And if I want to be a princess, she's gonna do her best to help me feel like the best princess in the whole dang world.
That's so
That
cute.
is real cute, man. She made up for it. It took 12 years, but she made
Sure.
up for it.
Did it.
She let you be a princess when you were 20,
Yeah.
which, it's better late than never. That's what they say.
Totally. And it's probably like a better dress now that she's older. You know? Like it's probably like the adult dress is probably like
It is. It's got the details on it are magnificent.
Hey, you got some good ones out
They're
there.
stupendous. She explained that the hot dog costume was not meant to be a punishment. She honestly thought I would think it was funny. Oh, facepalm so hard. You thought your 8-year-old daughter would think being a hot dog when all of her other friends are actual princesses?
Yeah.
She's like down for that?
When she's begging
Come
you
on.
and crying.
I feel like there is always that one person though. Like especially when like they're younger,
Yeah.
there's always that one girl who wants to be like, I don't want to be a princess.
well, totally.
I want to be something that slays more than that.
But the key word is want. She didn't want that.
Facts.
She didn't.
Did not. She thought I would think it was funny, but that she should never have gone that far without making sure I liked it. And she did not actually ever intend to take Snow White away. I believe this. She seems truly apologetic, and I told her that she is 200% forgiven. So things are good. I'm glad I spoke up when I did, and I think my mom and I are going to be closer now, honestly. She's a good person, and I am really grateful to have a mother like her. Thank you. And that's the end of that story. You had a little hot dog mom, and she
Oh,
thought you wanted to be a
yeah.
hot dog girl,
Hot dog out.
and 12 years you set it straight.
Yep. My husband called me selfish for wanting to have a breakup with my friend.
Well, then he's not a very good husband.
I, 33 female, have been married to my husband, 38 male, for 7 years. We have 4 kids, 6 male, 4 female, 3 male, and 5-month-old. He's a great dad and husband overall. We're introverted homebodies and spend most of our time in with the kids, gaming, movies, etc. We rarely argue, and when we do, it gets resolved quickly. By the way, this comes from Amazonian Giantess, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and I'm Angie.
I'm Sophia.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. My only real complaint is that he has never taken me out on a date in our entire marriage. I've never asked for anything fancy. Just a simple meal out would be nice, but it never happens. My husband recently lost his job due to frustration of contract, and he's been depressed and stressed. I've been handling everything on the home front, all the cleaning, cooking, school runs, dishes, laundry, groceries, bedtime, etc. I've also been doing all of his unemployment paperwork. helped rebuild his resume, and send him job links daily. Meanwhile, he spends hours playing Call of Duty and leaves messes around the house that I end up cleaning. I haven't complained because I know he's struggling mentally. I recently became friends with my next door neighbor, Tina. She also has 4 kids, and once or twice a week, we step outside for about an hour to smoke and talk. We both make sure our kids are fed, the house is set, and everything is safe before we step out. Since my husband has been home, I haven't made my kids come outside unless they want to because an adult is in the house now. My husband told me that he doesn't like that I go out for that hour, saying my friend asks too much of me, even though she doesn't ask anything. I enjoy the break and human connection. Today, Tina suggests we make a plan soon to go to a Chinese buffet 10 minutes away. We'd smoke, eat, and come home. Just a couple hours. I never go out. I've never had alone time since my first kid was born.
Yeah.
I was excited because I'm extremely overstimulated lately and feel like I'm in non-stop mom mode. When I mentioned it to my husband, he blew up. He said I'm selfish for wanting to leave him with the kids while I go fill my belly, and that I need a reality check, and that I signed up for kids, and then I shouldn't need any peace because he doesn't get any. I'm sorry, how many hours do you have logged on your Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Let's go check
Literally.
that out. Check your Steam account or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Log your hours.
Such a liar. There's
Yeah.
no way that he does. The thing is that I think that he counts video game time as just like, I need to do it.
Yeah.
And I need to do it. And then
Right.
he's like, well, I don't get any other free time. Like, I'm not seeing my
Yeah.
friends.
That's not peace. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, sometimes I feel like in this situation, you got to make your peace yourself. All
Yeah.
right. Sometimes it's hard to do that. But in his situation specifically, that's
Not
if,
that hard.
if it's not peaceful for you, then that's your fault. 'Cause you have
Yeah.
plenty of time alone. I told him I would cook dinner before I left and make sure everything was set. I also told him I'd be happy if he ever had a friend invite him somewhere because he never goes out to have fun. I wouldn't stop him. He kept insisting that I was selfish no matter what I said. Eventually, I just stopped arguing because I was exhausted and hurt. I feel guilty now, but also angry because I genuinely don't think wanting a couple hours with a friend is wrong after everything I've been doing for the family. There are some comments here and quite a bit more to
Oh.
the story, so I'm sure we're going to get an update. But
Don't let him gaslight you. That's what's happening right now.
yeah, we do have some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. That is incredibly controlling behavior. OP responds, nasty things were said on both sides, and I mentioned how controlling he's being. He doesn't see it that way at all. All of my feelings and reasons are always just garbage to him when he believes he's in the right and then denies hurtful things he said to me. I firmly believe he's a self-absorbed person. I had parents who were, and a grandmother who raised me as well. I know a self-absorbed person when I see one. Comment number 2 says this: you are more than entitled to a few hours alone. If you divorced him, you'd have full weekends free, leaving the kids with him, and you wouldn't be financially supporting him, picking up after him, and doing every little thing for him. There's especially no reason for you to do the unemployment paperwork when he's the one unemployed, even if his mental health means it takes him 12 hours to complete it. He's got that time and you don't.
I forgot or didn't realize that he was unemployed
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So he has double the amount of time.
Right. You're still doing everything.
That's crazy.
It's
Like cooking him
insane.
dinner on the night where you just wanted to see a friend is
Yeah. Like that is just so
Yeah.
bad. You need to start putting your foot down. Don't do his laundry. Don't clean his messes. Ask him to have dinner ready when you get home from work or to do the dishes since you cooked. And if he really is suffering so horribly in mental health that he can't do anything other than sit and play, he needs to start seeing a doctor. OP responds, I had to constantly nag him for days to sit behind me at my computer while we did the application. It was exhausting mentally. And then on top of that, I'm trying to get him to call unemployment since we haven't heard from them all week. I try to be strong for all of us, but sometimes I feel like I'm losing it. So when the suggestion came up for a buffet, I was hyped. I desperately need a little bit of time. 2 hours isn't asking for much. I'm definitely going to the buffet with her even more now that he blew up on me like this, though. Things are going to be changing around here. That's what I like to hear.
Yes.
Let's go.
Absolute wait.
Comment number 3, considering he's unemployed, it sounds like you both need to start looking for work because it doesn't sound like he is if you're doing his job hunting for him. Opie says, I can't work here. I'm not legal. I moved here for him. I wanted to do online jobs, but it's a no-go unless I find cash jobs. Someone responds, oof, that is not good, OP. He knows you are stuck and will behave worse, thinking if he wears you down, you won't try to help yourself. You've been married for 7 years and don't have permanent residency or employment authorization, you need to speak to an immigration lawyer or your country's consulate. Being trapped like this is not good for
But
you.
that's what I'm saying. Like, you've been married to a citizen. What's going on?
Yeah. Someone responds, if you've been legally married for 7 years, you're eligible for full citizenship. I'm not sure how having children affects status, but it certainly does in your favor, assuming you're in the USA. You certainly need to look into your immigration status at some point when your husband's not around. He may not be totally honest with you. And we do have an update.
Please
here.
tell me about your immigration status, because something is fishy. 7 years
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me, because this is
Right.
like for my dad. So for my mom's case, you know,
Yeah.
it was a lot easier to become a citizen because she had married my dad. And then in the for Australia, my dad was like 6 months away from being eligible for citizenship because of how long he had lived there when he was like living with my mom.
Yeah.
So usually it's like time
Yeah.
and also, you know, marriage status.
Right. Update. Thanks for the replies, everyone. I know I wasn't in the wrong from the beginning. I just really needed to hear from other people. And my eyes have been open to other things that I need to discuss with him from the replies. It helps a lot when others put things into a different perspective from me, and we're definitely going to have a long discussion tonight when the kids are in bed. And then we got a second update.
Oh boy.
We had a long talk last night, and I told him I will listen to everything he has to say if he would listen to me as well without interruption. He agreed, and we both laid it all out. He realized he was in the wrong and apologized for acting the way he did. I know he has trauma from past relationships, but I have also been through trauma, and it's not fair that he's dumping his insecurities onto me because of it, because I don't do that to him. That seemed to make him realize how he's been behaving. I mentioned therapy for his depression, as it is clear that he's going through a rough time, but he needs to chill with the gaming because he is using it to cope, and it's making things worse for himself and for us as a whole. He said he knows it's getting bad, and he will try to limit to himself and be involved with me and the kids a little bit more. We hit a little snag when it came to helping around the house. I asked him if he picked up a few extra chores like dishes or do the bedtime routine. That would be a lifesaver because I am usually juggling the bath, feeding the baby, doing the dishes all the same time, and I'm running around like a maniac. Yeah, I forgot that their youngest is 5 months old.
Oh my goodness.
They have like 4 or 5 kids.
Yeah, and he's just not doing nothing.
Nothing. He also needs to start picking up after himself because I'm already bent out of shape from the kids' messes. He mentioned that he hates dishes, but he will try. I wasn't too convinced, but we'll see what happens. You can see that there's more episodes of stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast app you prefer. Just search OK Storytime. We'll be there. But there is a little bit more to the story.
I really haven't seen, like, it feels like OP is taking this as a sign of him having a big shift in his life or in their marriage, but it doesn't really feel like, to me, an actual shift.
Yeah. I mean, she did say, like, we'll see at the end, so hopefully that means she's keeping an eye out on all this.
Hope so.
But,
I don't feel great about it. I'll tell you that much.
He has also agreed to go to therapy, so that's a plus. As for job searching, we didn't go into it that much, but I did tell him I'm doing everything I can to help with that, and I have too much on my plate, so all that responsibility now has to fall on him. I'm done managing it. I cannot take care of him as much as I do the children because he is an adult, and while I do love him, this is his responsibility as a man, husband, and father.
Yep.
If he needs help, I will definitely make time to help him, but I will not be in the driver's seat anymore. He has left a voicemail to a therapist we found and will call back on Monday for a follow-up on availability. I appreciate everyone's truthful comments and helping me open my eyes more to how dysfunctional everything has been. I love that most of you were straight up because I needed that. I'm going to be looking out for myself more in the self-care department and have made plans to go to the buffet with Tina next week. Well, good. I'm glad you're getting to that buffet.
Tina time.
Tina time.
Tina time.
My goodness.
Yeah, keep an eye out. Keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. My friend demoted me from maid of honor after all I've done.
Why would you do that?
It's been a while since this all happened. I, 30 female, was asked to be the maid of honor to best friend's wedding about a year before the date. I said yes and expressed I have never been married before or been in a wedding party, but I'll do my best. Everything was great. Everything was going well. We communicated, but not much was happening at this time. I planned for all the bridesmaids to get together and go dress shopping. By the way, this comes from Unable Tension 9915, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in the situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So OP says, and then I lost my job about 9 to 10 months before the wedding, not realizing how horrible the job market was. I assumed I would get a new job in a couple of months. I got a roommate to help pay for bills and continued to help my best friend of 9 years plan her wedding. After about 4 months of being jobless, I started to get stressed knowing my savings was running out, and if I don't find a job, I'll be broke and homeless. I can admit I wasn't 100% all in to the wedding planning and being on top of things, but if I didn't have an answer for something, I would go to the bride and ask, even offered her to help update the wedding website as I noticed it wasn't up to date. I offered to take things off her hands, like assigning day of jobs for the bridesmaids, as the bridesmaids were getting antsy not knowing what their jobs were. Now I'm going to backtrack a little bit because this is important. It was brought up by the bride that if I am nervous to do my speech, I can get the girls to help me or join me, as she knows that I wasn't the best at public speaking. The idea was thrown around, but eventually I wrote my own speech and told the bridesmaids, no need to worry, I've written my speech. There's more backstory before the tea. The bride and I sat down and planned the bachelorette as she wanted to be involved and didn't want it to be a big surprise, just kind of. About a month after, we spent hours picking a location and figuring out transportation. There's a text in the big group chat, groom, bride, groomsmen, bridesmaids, saying that we were actually camping here on these dates. I gave the message a thumbs up and messaged the bride, why the change? We're doing a combined party now? I was planning for the other location. She explained, yeah, it's just cheaper for everyone, and we were stressed we were going to get a reservation for the other locations. I may add, I offered to pay for the bachelorette, even though I was still jobless. I offered to book and take the worry off her hands, but she wanted to do it. We also didn't know at the time if I would be able to make it, because if I got a job that required me to work that weekend, I could not pass it up. I had been jobless for almost 9 months. Yes, the combined bachelor/bachelorette was the weekend before the wedding. Not my idea. Yeah, that sounds a little risky.
But like understanding that, like, hey, I've
Yeah.
been jobless for this long kind of thing. I also would be shocked about a job not letting you go that weekend. Like if you go in and
Yeah.
you're like, listen, I will start first thing Monday morning.
Right.
My best friend, I am maid of honor.
Yeah.
Please.
Right.
90% of the time, they're gonna be nice and let you go. But
Yeah,
like putting that
hopefully.
up front and having that out there, like, by the way, might get a job. Always good.
Always good. Anyhow, a month before the wedding, I got a job. Woo! Requiring me to work weekends. They said I could get a day off for the bachelor/bachelorette as it was within driving distance. So I was able to drive out after work and spend the one night and one day, but would have to be back for my next morning shift. I also got the week of the wedding off, but had to work the morning after the wedding because it was a weekend. I had to take the job. It was the only job offer I had gotten in months that paid enough to pay the bills. That week, the bride sat down with me and demoted me from maid of honor.
Huh.
Why? So close to the wedding? Really?
We're right there.
Well, it's right around the corner, babe. She said there had been too many things that she felt I no longer deserved the title. I had made her feel like she wasn't planning and being on top of things by offering to take over, such as updating the website and helping give out tasks for the bridesmaids, not being available on the weekends as those are her days off leading up to the wedding, miscommunicating about speeches. Bridesmaids thought they had to do their own speech because the idea was thrown around that they do it with me, which apparently she never wanted that, she just wanted me. Bridesmaids were going to the bride and asked if they needed to do speeches. After I had told them that they don't need to worry about it, I wrote my own speech. Another reason was not being on top of the bachelorette party. She had changed the location without really telling me, and it's supposed to be a surprise, is it not? So yeah, I was stressing, on top of the month before still trying to find a job. I had communicated that, and the planning went to another bridesmaid already who was very excited to plan it. And she expressed that she's been as communicative as possible, so asking questions made her feel inadequate. Another reason was that she heard that we had no brides chat and made her feel out of the loop, as she is being honest and open to us. I explained that the chat is regarding gifts and surprises. We aren't talking behind her back. In this same meeting, I found out that her bridal shower was being planned by her and her mom because the person who was supposed to do it just decided to not plan it. And this is when she decided to tell me.
Aren't you this person that's supposed to do it?
I
Isn't
mean,
the maid
she's-
of honor supposed to do it?
That's what she says. She says, I could have stepped up and done it, as that's my job as the maid of honor. If she had told me at any point, it would have been planned and done. Yeah, maybe they were just kind of trying to be like, okay, well, you're the maid of honor, but like, we'll just
Yeah.
have her do this. And then she backed out, and then now the mom is doing
Weddings
it.
just always sound so messy. Because half the time I'm kind of like, okay, like, yeah, that's on the bride. And then some things I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know, girl, like, maybe it's not that deep.
Right? I didn't even know for like the longest time that the maid of honor had like a job.
Right?
I thought that was just like, oh, you're special. You
Yeah.
just get to stand
we just
there.
celebrate you because I love you.
Like,
Like,
this is like my bestie. Like, these
Yeah.
are all my besties, but you're,
you're
my
my
real bestie.
bestie.
Yeah. That's
not that
that's-
it's someone that you like trust to plan half the stuff.
yeah, right. I feel like that could be different questions.
Yeah. Those are very
my
different
bestie,
questions.
My
My
bestie
bestie
could
and
be
who
someone that I
doesn't have
don't
ADHD.
trust. Yeah, exactly. Like, seriously, don't tell your maid of honor the person who was supposed to plan it bailed. My mom even offered to host, but I told her, don't worry about it. There's nothing that we can do now. They are planning it. May I add that the bridal shower was the day before the wedding because they had to wait for everyone to be in town. What?
I have heard of that before.
Interesting.
If,
I have
if it's
not.
big families that are like traveling
guess
from
so.
different places and you want everybody there,
Yeah,
it's not the most convenient, but sometimes it saves like multiple flights for people and
Right,
like coming in
right.
from so many places twice.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense if you want
Day
everyone there,
before,
too.
maybe not. Like I've heard of
Before as
like
well.
you have like a long weekend, maybe that Friday is one thing,
Sure.
and then you married that Sunday or
That would
something.
make sense. I think like for my family, it's just kind of like, well, if you can't make it, it's just the bridal party.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like
yeah,
just
yeah.
go to the
We'll
go to
see
the
you there.
wedding. Yeah. Okay. Now to the bachelorette and wedding day. Bachelorette was a couple of days before the wedding. I left work and pretty much drove right there. She didn't say hi, thanks for getting here, nothing. Her future husband took the bigger room without really talking to her, even though there were more girls there. We drove to the restaurant, which we had to take multiple cars. Even though there was room in my car, she always decided on a different car. Us girls ended up sleeping separated because we didn't all fit in one room. Girls ended up getting another room. It was crazy. Bride slept with the groom during the bachelorette party,
Yeah.
which I found crazy. Like, it's supposed to be girl time. It's like, I mean,
You're sleeping. What does it matter?
like, I feel like if you're doing a joint thing,
what does it really
I feel like
matter?
she's not going to have a sleepover with her girls. She's going to be with her man. I don't know. Anyways, the next day it was pouring rain, so we stayed inside and painted flower pots and
Aw,
bookmarks. That's
cute.
cute. Bride wasn't very happy about it. She said, I have so many pots, I don't need more. Which, this was the part of the bachelorette that I had spent money on, going to the store and getting pots and paint and so on. Nearing the end of the day, I had to leave because I worked the next morning. Everyone else was able to stay one more night. As I left, I packed all my things and tried to say bye. Bride ignored me. Didn't say bye, didn't say thanks for coming, nothing. I was exhausted and cried the way home. I felt like everything I had tried to do up until that point meant nothing to her, and she wanted me gone. The next day at work, it was slow, so I spent the day finishing the dance floor lists, listening to every song. My coworkers even gave me suggestions. I knew it needed variety, so I Googled and asked ChatGPT, which I know can be controversial, for song ideas. This was the job that I was given, the hype girl. Even though I had asked for song suggestions from the big chat with the groom, bride, groomsmen, and bridesmaids, no one had really given me any, so I was on my own. After I was happy with it and listened to the 6+ hour song list all the way through, I shared it with the bride. She had no response for days. Now, 4 days before the wedding, I knew the emergency kit hadn't been done, so while I was grocery shopping, I texted the chat, hey, I'm out shopping, what should I grab? They replied with no problems with me doing this, and I bought all of the emergency kit. 3 days before, we had a gathering to say, here is the home stretch party, here, there is nothing else to do, start the partying party. It was the groom's mom's idea. During the party, the best man said, I thought this was my job to make the music list. So I said, oh, maybe it's both our jobs. Do you have a list of songs to add? I don't think the bride has submitted it to the DJ yet. He said no. I said, okay, do you have suggestions? I shared the list. He said to remove all the rap music. They said during the bachelorette and bachelor party that they wanted no rap, which I must have missed because I was there only for one day. I was kind of pissed by this, but I moved on. That same night, the bride asked me why did I take other bridesmaids' jobs by buying emergency kit stuff. I expressed that I didn't realize that just because she was the emergency person day of meant that she took on that responsibility. I was out and could buy the stuff. I apologized to the bridesmaid for taking the job that wasn't my intention, and I gave her the emergency kit. 2 days before, a bridesmaid texted me asking if, since we are all sharing the job of maid of honor, we should do the speech all together. I expressed to her that I heard from the bride regarding the situation, and she said she would tell us when she knows what she wants. Also, she was upset with me suggesting this months ago, so I'm not sure if that's what she wants. The bride texted me seconds later saying, "Hey, because all of you are sharing the job, I would like you all to do a combined speech," which I said, "Okay, yeah, sure, we could do that." Which then, in the no brides chat, we talked about our speech. The day before the wedding, I don't recall any problems. It went smooth as possible. The bridal shower, rehearsal, and then just chill out time. Day of the wedding now. We've made it to the wedding. From my eyes, it went as well as a wedding could go. We ran a bit behind schedule. Groom's family didn't show up at the time they were supposed to, so photos weren't done before the ceremony as the bride wanted. Some photos were done before, but not all. Anyhow, us bridesmaids were running back and forth helping set up the venue as we were getting ready on site. Lots going on before, during, and after the ceremony. I felt like I did the best I could to help, but there was something clearly people didn't like, which I'll get to. To express because of everything the month leading up to the wedding, I had already felt like I had a target on my back. 2 weeks after the wedding, the bride texted me. Apparently, I left this at the hotel during the bachelor and bachelorette party. But I did not. I kindly said I could have sworn I took everything when I left. Could you send me a picture just to double check if it's mine? It was not. She seemed upset that it wasn't me. Well, sorry you're mad at me for this, and sorry I didn't do what you're mad at me for.
You
Like,
wanna be mad at me?
yeah, like what? A month goes by, and the bride texts me again. Now, because of our 9-year friendship, I would borrow things all the time. Books, clothes, shoes, streaming accounts, etc. She asked for everything that I had borrowed back, which is when everything blew up. I explained, I'm not done with this book. When I'm done, I can return it. She said, no, I'm in the area. I want them back. So I asked what's going on. The bride explained everything that had happened that she heard from the bridesmaids. She gave just one bridesmaid as an example of the things that happened. Let's call her Stephanie.
Right.
Stephanie's the bridesmaid that's taking all the heat now. Stephanie cried to the bride before we went out to do pictures that I told her that her makeup looked bad. From my end, I noticed her makeup was separating after running around setting up, and I told her that she just might want to fix it before photos, which there was time. I unfortunately don't recall how I worded it properly, like, hey, your makeup is separating, you might want to fix it. And after many conversations with my boyfriend and others, they would say that that's not you to just tell someone their makeup looks bad. With that, apparently, Stephanie says that I slapped her hand during the ceremony, and she doesn't know why. Unfortunately, I do not recall slapping, but I did tap her hand. If she wasn't expecting a tap on the hand, maybe it felt like a slap, but she was standing on the bride's train. I first tried to tell the bridesmaid between us, but she did nothing. Then I just bent down and tapped her hand to get her attention, as there was someone between us and she didn't move, so I just tried to gently pull it out from under her feet. It wasn't a lot, but it could have been bad in my mind. Just as I fixed it, the bridesmaid behind me tapped me on the shoulder. I stood up and she said, "You're ruining the pictures." I explained, "Stephanie was on the train." I recall her saying, "Doesn't matter." LOL, if the bride walked away and it ripped, that would have been bad. It's a big deal in my mind. The bride just told me about Stephanie and told me that there were things. I immediately reached out to her and apologized. It wasn't my intention to upset her, just wanted to make sure that the day went perfectly. Stephanie never replied to that text. I then went back to the bride and told her that I was so sorry this all went down. None of this was intentionally done, and I'm sorry I ruined her wedding. This I remember specifically. She said I didn't ruin her wedding and to not put words in her mouth. She explained all of it sounded out of character, but she can't be friends with someone who unintentionally hurts people like this. And so many people said something. So then I spent the week leaving chats because I wanted to have private conversations with people and I didn't want any group activity. And I proceeded to reach out to the other bridesmaids. The first bridesmaid I reached out to replied and said, "Yeah, I didn't like how you talked to my partner. You were snappy with them." I apologized and didn't realize my words were rude. I was stressed trying to make the day the best for the bride. And I would be stressed if you didn't listen to full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is and search OK Storytime. I'm gonna be so stressed out, and my day is not gonna be perfect if you don't do that.
You can't do that to Angie.
You can't do this
Go
to me.
listen.
Please. The second bridesmaid I reached out to said some of your comments leading up to the wedding and on the day of made me feel uncomfortable, but everything was stressful, so I didn't think it was intentional. You should reach out to the other bridesmaids.
Girl, I think you had some attitude.
I think maybe we're learning that you had
I
attitude.
think maybe we're learning that maybe it's just the tone you speak with, but
Maybe.
sometimes we gotta learn that sometimes it sounds like
yeah.
attitude.
Some people get stressed some people get
Yeah,
stressed and
totally fair.
snappy when they're stressed.
And I'm
It
sure
happens.
most people will also forgive you for that. But it's the
you would
reaching
hope.
out to apologize, to be like, hey, I realized might have been a little snippy.
Yeah. I think that's good that you're doing that. I informed her that I was already on it. The third bridesmaid never replied to me, so I have no idea what happened, unfortunately. I haven't talked to any of them since. I feel like the day didn't go as smoothly as the bride and everyone wanted, so they chose me as a scapegoat. I've gone back to therapy because of all of this. Therapist doesn't think that I'm the a-hole, but I haven't been able to sit down and talk with the others, so I don't know what their side of the story is. I was friends with the bride for 9 years and 2 of the bridesmaids. I'm just heartbroken. I just can't get it out of my head that I'm the a-hole. So am I the a-hole? And that's the end of that story.
Well,
Ugh. I don't know.
It's one of those things. It's like we can't tell. We weren't there for the conversation.
Yeah.
I personally am a big advocate of like, if everyone's coming back that you might have been a little snippy, maybe we have some self-reflection.
Yeah.
Some like truthful self-reflection.
Yeah.
On the other hand, sometimes everybody just sucks.
Right.
My husband says I'm too harsh while I do everything and he plays video games.
Get off the games.
Maybe someone's taking him for a ride.
My husband, 25-year-old male, and I, 28-year-old female, got married about 2.5 years ago. I pay the majority of our bills because I make slightly more than my husband, about $5 an hour more. And you pay the majority of the bills?
Yeah, that's crazy.
With the current economic situation and previous loans I had taken out, I work a full-time job as well as DoorDashing whenever I can to help with all the payments. We have a 15-month-old son, and it is very difficult to DoorDash and have him in the car with me while doing so. By the way, this comes from user AITAH 314. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Dakota.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon.
And we are here to give you good advice, goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, this past Thursday, I had to leave work early to go pick up our son because my husband wasn't going to be able to get off work in time to pick him up. I pick up our son on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and my husband picks him up on Tuesdays and Thursdays due to my later work schedule on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I had to take my son to urgent care that night due to lots of symptoms of an ongoing double ear infection, upper respiratory infection, and possible bronchitis. Yikes!
Dang, your son is sicker than a dog.
Might as well just give him the bubonic plague at this point. Due to my son having a fever, we had to keep him home on Friday, and I had to stay home from work. I asked my boss if it was okay for me to attend our meeting online due to the circumstances, to which she said yes. After our meeting, I had a friend ask to come over, to which I agreed, and I ended up opening up to her about all the problems my husband and I have been having since I gave birth to our son. In March of this year, I made a list of 8 chores for my husband and I to pick through and complete because otherwise my husband would not do any household chores. My therapist at the time suggested sitting down with a small list and us taking turns choosing which ones we wanted to do. Which chore is at the bottom of that list? Like, which chore is the one getting picked last?
That no one wants to do?
Yeah, for me, it'd be dishes.
For me, it'd be taking out the trash.
That's the easiest one.
Well, it's good that I hate doing it and you do like doing it. And I don't mind doing
So,
dishes.
dishes, trash?
But trash is only one day a week.
Dishes, trash.
You don't even take out the trash.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I take the trash out more than anyone.
I don't know. I take out the trash a lot in our apartment.
That's true. I see Keon taking out the trash all the time.
My husband selected unloading the dishes.
Rage.
Guys, she baited me.
Rage.
She baited me successfully. My husband selected unloading the dishes. We don't have a dishwasher, so I have to wash them all by hand from the side of the sink, taking out the trash to the curb, vacuuming and sweeping, and feeding our dog and cat at night. From March to the end of August, my husband vacuumed once and had unloaded the dishes maybe 10 times. He was great about staying on top of the trash and feeding the animals, My husband also has never taken an overnight shift with our son.
What? What?
Whoa, sorry. I must be in outer space because I must be floating through a different universe.
I'm sorry. He's never taken care of your son during the night? He makes you do every night shift so you never get to sleep properly?
Dude, at the very least, make it a coin flip.
Come on.
I mean, come on. I have always put him to bed, woken up to soothe him at night, feed him, etc. I have to wake up early to get myself ready for the day each morning before my son wakes up because my husband also doesn't help in the mornings unless I physically hand our son to him and say, watch our kid while I brush my teeth, or something to that extent. At the end of August, I gave my husband an ultimatum. In 2 weeks, he needed to show improvement in the amount of work he did at the house and be engaged with our son more, or we would go through a trial separation. I didn't want to separate, but I wanted my husband to see that I was serious about this. I didn't want to continue to basically be his mother as well as my own sons. We had an emergency meeting with our pastor as my husband had gotten extremely upset with this and wanted a mediator for our situation. Our pastor validated my side of things, stating that he could see the physical exhaustion on my face and thought my husband should be doing more as any responsible adult and parent would do. With doing 90% of the housework and being the default parent, as well as working a full-time and part-time job, there are times when it is difficult for me to communicate in a kind way with my husband. Yeah, I wouldn't be communicating kind ever. I would be entirely unable to communicate kindly.
Yeah, I would be so frustrated with my husband. Ooh.
Back to this past weekend. I stayed home all day with our son on Friday and had hoped that since my husband worked Friday and was off Saturday, I could work with DoorDash for a few hours on Saturday and it would be okay. My husband seemed annoyed that he would have to be solely responsible for our son for that time.
Ha! Ha 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 ha!
Annoyed that you're going to go work to make money and he has to, I don't know, be a dad for a day?
Ha! Ha! You're not a babysitter, dude. And even if you were, you'd be a bad one. You're a father. Take care of your kid. Help your wife out. Come on, step up.
When I was dashing, he snapped me a picture of our son taking a nap on the floor and thought it was funny. My husband was playing, well, that might be funny.
That could be
Depending on how the baby fell asleep, that might be funny. Maybe I was like, look at this stupid baby, fell asleep on the floor.
Can't even drink water.
My husband was playing video games for the 4 hours that I was gone. The dishes I had done the day before still had not been put away, and he had not vacuumed in at least 2 weeks. After our son went to bed that night, I got out my gloves to start cleaning the dishes, and my husband said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I have to do the dishes because clearly both sides of our sink are overflowing with dishes." He said, "I'm going to put them up tomorrow." And I said, "How long did you play video games for today?" My husband said, "Oh, for the majority of the time you were gone."
Dang, he admits it and doesn't even get why that's a problem.
So then I says, "How long does it take you to put the dishes away?" My husband said, "About 5 to 10 minutes. I says, "Then why didn't you carve out 5 or 10 minutes to do the dishes while you were playing video games all day?"
Honey, you don't understand. I can't pause the game.
Honey, I was playing Call of Duty.
Honey, it's an online game. There's no pause button.
It's my duty. I've got to answer the call.
This guy, rename this guy to Call of Poopy.
Yeah.
Call of Dirty.
Because he stinks.
Oh,
Yeah.
you said duty and I said dirty. We were so close. We almost had it.
Ding.
As you can tell, this is not the first time that I've asked this of him. He became super upset and went straight to bed. If I may add, like a little poopy diaper baby boy.
And if I may add, and not doing the dishes.
We basically had a big knockdown, drag out fight about how I feel that I'm having to do much more than I'm capable of and need him to start helping. My husband told me that I needed to stop being so passive and just tell him when I need things done and communicate better with him. You mean the thing you've been doing? I told him that we have the chore list written on our calendar in the living room and that he needs to be doing it at least once a week. My husband proceeded to pull out his phone notes and said, "Tell me specifically what I need to do."
Go look at the freaking list.
You've got the list. The list is downstairs. It's already written.
It's written. It's written.
So I listed off the 4 chores I mentioned earlier and stated that he needed to be more present with our son. I didn't feel like this was too much of an ask, and he stated, "I will start doing better." Well, thank God. Now that it's written in the notes app in his phone, he's going to understand it.
He's like, I wasn't going to remember this before, but I've set a timer for every 4 hours
It tells me I need to start doing better.
What a knuckle dragon simian of a man. Ape brain.
That was a stellar
Thank you.
comment.
I didn't feel like this was too much. He says, I'll start doing better. I rolled my eyes and told him, that is what you say every time. And granted, you do make a change for about 2 weeks, but then you go back to not even the bare minimum, leading us to the same fight basically every 2 or 3 months. To add to the situation, my husband has a problem with corn and has been working really hard to overcome his problem. Sounds like that is his problem. Oh, I'm sorry. And is around day 115 of being clean. I've told him how proud I am of him, but it doesn't seem to be enough. I guess what I'm trying to say is, am I the a-hole for not being more kind when discussing this with my husband? Do y'all have any advice for ways I can approach things in a better manner? And there is an update.
I am at a loss because you have basically walked him through how to be a parent and an adult step by step, and it's still not fully sinking in. So I guess just hope that he actually starts doing better.
Maybe just try post-it notes.
Yeah.
Post-it notes everywhere.
Passive aggressive post-it notes.
It looks like one of those conspiracy theorists' houses. Those red.
Yeah. Have a post-it note on the wall that says dishes, and then have a red string
Red
that
yarn.
goes from the post-it note to the
dish.
dishes he needs to put away.
I think that would work.
And he just follows the string like, the dishes that I can see with my eyeballs. I guess I'll put those away.
And right next to the dishes is a Scooby snack.
Honestly, the AI robot that does chores is better than your husband.
I think what you need to do,
Marry
OP,
the AI robot.
I think OP needs to go to him who says, "Can you do the dishes for a Scooby snack?" And he says, "A Scooby snack, ruh-roh."
I don't know. If he's gonna act like a teenager, treat him like a teenager, take away his gaming console.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Until he does the chores. And then you're like,
Shouldn't have to do that though.
you shouldn't have to do that. But if he's gonna act like a man-child, treat him like a man-child.
I don't want to be married to a child, so.
Yeah, it's true. Thank God. Update. I just wanted to add what has happened since I made the post a couple days ago. My husband had not unloaded the dishes after 3 days, and we were both getting ready for the day yesterday morning. So I asked him to unload the dishes. He started to say, but I was going to, possibly trying to say he was going to do them that night, which is what he always says, but actually followed through and put them away right then. Granted, it was only a couple cereal bowls and some pots and pans at that point because he had waited so long. Last night, we started sleep training with our 15-month-old using the Ferber method. If you don't know what that is, the Ferber method is when you put your drowsy toddler down for bed and then check on them after 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, etc. until they fall asleep. You increase the time between check-ins, and you aren't supposed to pick up your child. I told my husband that our son would be crying for a long time, but that it was part of this sleep training and hopefully wouldn't be all night. My husband nodded his head and said he would stay up with me. After we hit the 5-minute check-in time, my husband got so frustrated that our son was not calming down and said, I'm gonna go lay down, and went to our bedroom to go to sleep.
He gave up after 5 minutes?
Well, it was probably like 9 minutes.
Oh,
But
yeah, you're right. That's the
pathetic.
line.
That's pathetic. That is pathetic.
Dang.
So much for staying up with me. Throughout this process, my son would scream and cry really loud, but I knew that I needed to be firm in this training so he and I could get better sleep. My husband was getting so frustrated that he was pounding on our bedroom wall to try and get our son to stop crying.
You were making loud noise to get your baby to stop crying?
What, like you're an old lady on the in the apartment above and you're like banging on the floor with the broomstick?
I think your husband's stupid.
Yeah, I think your husband's got dumb disorder. My husband then proceeded to get his hunting or muting earbuds.
That made me so scared. I'm like, hunting what?
My husband then proceeded to get his hunting or muting earbuds, put them in, and use my pillow to cover his head to drown out the noise while I was in the living room trying to stay calm. I put our son down for bed at 8 p.m. and kept up with the time increments up to 15 minutes. At 10:45, our son finally fell asleep. I was then able to actually sleep in our bed for a full night of uninterrupted sleep for the first time in several months. When I woke up for the day, my son was still asleep, so I was actually able to get ready and take a nice, long, hot shower without anyone needing me in that moment. I felt like a brand new person. And by the way, you can always listen to brand new episodes full of stories just like this on your favorite podcast platform, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, search OK Storytime, and you can sleep like a baby who's already gone through the Ferber method with the dulcet tones of this podcast in your ears, although some of them involve us yelling. So we can't guarantee that it'll always be dulcet tones, but we still encourage it. Now, there's a little more story left here. I don't know if you guys should go back to the pastor, but there's some sort of deficiency in your husband's contribution to the household.
Big time.
I think it's really not sustainable in its current state, and I think it's something that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Something must be done.
I'm done with your husband. That's what I'm done with.
You know, he's got to cowboy up, man.
Like, she said that the baby was awake until 10:45.
Yeah, you can't cowboy up until 10:45.
10:45? Come on.
You're banging on the wall, being like, "This dang baby won't shut up." It's like
That's what babies do.
I think you might have an issue, my guy.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit more story here. When my husband woke up and saw my son and me moving around in the kitchen, he looked at me and said, "Well, that was really frustrating."
I think I would pounce on him. I would pounce. I'd say, I'd turn into a little, like, freaking spider monster.
You would transmorgify into a creature.
Yes. If he said this to me.
It took all that I had not to yell at him that he wasn't the one actually doing the soothing every 5 to 10 minutes. I told him, yeah, it was frustrating when you were pounding on the walls. He said he wasn't pounding on the walls, and I told him that I heard him very clearly. He said it might have been him hitting his leg once or twice, but I knew that sound because he had done it so many times before. All this to say, we have one good day just to turn around and have a bad day again. I told my husband it may be a full week of this type of training before our son is able to fall asleep independently, and he said that was fine, almost like it didn't faze him.
Yeah, because he's not doing it.
Yeah.
He's not going to be doing any of it. So why does he care?
I know I won't be getting help with this from him now, and I feel like I shouldn't even expect the bare minimum from him anymore, and that's the end of that story.
And maybe the end of the relationship. Because if you can't expect the bare minimum from your partner as, like, in a relationship or as a parent, not a great, start to the child's life.
You gotta show up and contribute, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's working 2 jobs and is taking care of everything with the kid. You gotta step up. Step up. Like, I don't even want to say this, but I was like, be a man. Like, step up. Like, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Take charge of anything.
Yeah.
You're telling, as a full-grown man, you're like, tell me exactly what it is I need to do, and I'll write it down. It's like, already. We've done this.
This is what I need you to
We've done it before.
I need you to use your brain. That's
Crazy.
what I need.
That is the end of that story. We have another one.
Oh, man. We do.
My friend refused to support me when my beloved cat passed away.
That's not a friend.
I, 40s female, and Jonna, 40s female. I am a cat rescuer, and 8 months ago, my own cat, who was like a daughter to me, passed away. Very suddenly after multiple mixed diagnoses and treatments. It broke my heart. Jonna is also an animal lover and recently a single mom from a divorce and an empty nester. She also has 2 cats. I had 2 of my own, not including the fosters. By the way, this comes from Arwin and Aowin, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, Jonna left me alone for weeks, sent 1 short text, and called about 2 weeks later once. I didn't see the call until later. I did text her a few times asking for support. She had apologized, then sent long texts about how hard she was working and how hard her life was and how little money she had. This was while she was posting on social media. Parties, weddings, travel, constant updates. I was in an accident 3 months ago. I didn't tell Jonna, and very few people knew. It was a bad accident, and I'm still recovering, still in pain, and still without a car or income. Jonna texts occasionally, very cheerfully, acting like everything's okay. One of Jonna's cats passed away suddenly about a month ago. I sent my condolences by text and on social media as she'd post about it there. Jonna has a friend who occasionally donates to my rescues about once a month. Jonna usually sends me the bank slip after the transfer, and I always thank her. The last time I told Jonna that I had been in an accident, she said she was sorry to hear that and didn't ask for anything more. So that's been the pattern. I've been polite but distant for 8 months, and she's been acting as if everything's okay. Today, Jonna texted again about the donation. She said she'd called and wondered why I didn't pick up. But when I checked my call log, she hadn't. I said I hadn't seen it. I texted her saying, "Hey, I know you want to speak. I want to as well, but you know we can't speak as we used to."
Why not?
Why not?
I'm confused. Did she already ignore that your cat passed away?
Yeah.
It didn't sound like that happened. Did we skip?
I didn't think that happened yet. She replied with long texts about how busy she's been, how hard her work is, how difficult taking care of the kids are, some in college, some working, all out of state, and how much she's traveling. I sent her, okay, it is after.
Okay.
I sent her a voice note saying that her lack of support when my girl passed away really made me sad. I know she's busy and all that, but it hasn't been exactly easy for me. I'm sorry her cat passed away. I'm sorry things are hard for her, but honestly, my cat passing away and my accident are about me. I don't have the capacity to support anyone else. I'm still in constant pain. She sent me multiple voice notes calling me selfish and self-centered and a disappointment to her, and a fake person if I claim to be on the spiritual path, yet filled with self-pity. I'm like so confused about this story so far.
It sounds like you guys both did the exact same thing to each other.
Yeah, it sounds
Well,
like you,
no, because you did reach out.
but also just with sending her condolences, which is what Jonna did.
I think
It's like one of those things where it's like everyone has some sort of struggle in life and everyone's struggle is going to be different and we can have the sympathy about it for everybody, but like it doesn't change that like one person can still be struggling if they're not deemed as like
Right.
much of a struggle as yours kind of thing. But you also don't need to hear about it all the time. You guys can be friends without only talking about that.
more to life than your cat that is gone, which is sad, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the time to then lose one of your best friends, right?
Guys, there is a very exciting stream happening Thursday, and I cannot wait. That's all I'm going to say.
OP continues that she would not apologize for living her life and not reaching out. It shocked me and hurt me a lot. I responded as calmly as I could that I didn't hold her responsible for what happened to me, but for her lack of support as a friend. And that what happened this year showed me who truly cared and who didn't. I wished her well, I wished her peace, every happiness, and told her this friendship was over, that there was no going back. I'm frankly quite stunned by what happened. Jonna and I were family friends. My mother liked her, loved her kids, but she's kept away this year since my girl passed away. I do wonder if I should have been more forgiving and pretended everything was okay and been friends with her like normal. Am I the a-hole? Edit. It always felt like the misery Olympics. I lost my cat, but she's having the hard life. I ask for support, but her life sucks. I have an accident, but she's working overtime to feed her kids. Even today, when she was calling me names, it was all about how her life is so hard. It often felt like I had to put aside how I felt and commiserate with her. This has happened before, when I was having a rough time financially, and she told me she'd had it harder when she was first married. She just sounds miserable. She just wants to complain all the time.
I mean, it sounds like you're looking for support from a person who is like, I can barely support myself.
Yeah.
Every day I struggle to support myself and my children, so I don't really have the bandwidth to support you. And it does sound like she's miserable if she's doing my financial situation was even worse.
Yeah. Maybe she needs a therapist so it's not just dumped on our friend.
Yeah, it's really our friends are only built for so much before it's like, I don't even know what to say, my guy. Like, you got to talk to a professional.
We have an update. An update in case anyone is interested. Some background that I left out of the first post for length. I had known Jonna for 8 years. Jonna works in a pharmacy, has a great boss who gives her great bonuses, and she's been there for almost 15 years. Jonna married young the first time. I think she was 20. She had 4 daughters with her ex before they split up. She then left her girls with her ex and moved away for work. When she came back to our town a few years later, her oldest, now 25, didn't want to live with her, but the 3 younger girls did. She then married her second husband, whom she split up with last year. He took on her kids, and they adopted another daughter a few years later. So 3 out of 4 girls are now in college. In total, Jonna has 5 girls, including one who's no contact with her. Jonna loves posting on social media. Everything she's going through is posted there except for her split. Jonna's oldest daughter has gone no contact with her, so Jonna goes to her daughter's social media, downloads her public pictures, and shares them on her own social media, accompanied by sad posts and sad poetry. That wasn't the biggest tell about who she is, though. That's crazy.
I mean, I'd probably do the same thing if I had a kid who refused to speak to me. I don't even know what that'd be
You'd
like.
go to her social media, take the pictures, post
I
them
would
on
be
your
a
socials.
miserable, emotional mess all the time, I'm sure. You know? Sounds like you're looking for your support in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Y'all both need support.
She posts about work, TikTok dances, videos of her singing and partying and traveling, about her sadness, heartbreak. It's constant. Jonna told me at the start of last year that she's been unhappy with her marriage for a while. After she split up with him at the end of last year, she told me that her husband had been verbally harmful, but also that she didn't want to get a divorce. She said she missed out by marrying young and wanted to go out and drink and party now. She just wanted separate lives where they went out with other people and stayed married in name. He didn't want that, so she moved out. Instead of renting a house of her own, she got herself a small flat where she took 2 rooms. The landlady was also a friend she parties with and is home half the month, so she has the last room. The girls found this very hard, leaving the house they'd grown up in, the lack of privacy, and missing their dad, whom they still see regularly. They spent last Christmas with him, as Jonna wanted to work, and apparently we're planning to spend this Christmas with him too. Which brings us to the update. Like I'd mentioned, Jonna was constantly on social media, which is how I had known where she was and what she was doing. I had reached out to her for support a few times by text, but every other time her reply would be about how hard she was working, how tired she was, and how she was so broke. Then she'd post on social media about going to the movies or spending a day with a friend. And I actually did tell her about the accident, I just hadn't gone into detail about it, and she'd text an OMG back. So there was no way she didn't know that I was upset or that our friendship hadn't been the same for the last 8 months. And that's why I was so annoyed when she'd send the cheery messages as if everything was okay. I also found out that her cat passed away of kidney stones, and when I asked, she said he had been showing symptoms for a while, but she hadn't taken it seriously until the end. I was really angry about that. I don't think we need to judge her for a passing of a pet that I'm sure she's very sad about.
Nah, I'd be mad too. It was like, yeah, it was clear there was something wrong with your cat, and you just like didn't take it and didn't take it and didn't take it, and then it's like, oh, nothing I can do now.
If they were legit symptoms, I guess that one confuses me because a lot of times cats can be very just like hiding of their symptoms kind of thing.
Yeah, if it was a shock, that's one thing, but
I guess maybe that's what I'm picturing, and that was probably my own personal.
it really, really bugs me when people have problems, their pets have problems, and they're like, yeah, but I can't take him to the vet.
Yeah, then don't have a pet.
It's like, well, then I guess you gotta do something else.
If you can't afford to help the cat, you shouldn't have the cat.
Give it to someone who can take it to the vet.
In my last message to her, after her rant about how selfish and self-absorbed I was, and a disappointment and disgrace to her spiritual studies, to God, to my mom, to everyone, I pointed out how I had not once called her names. I wasn't judging how she lived her life, and I was calling her out for her lack of support as a friend. That she couldn't take back what she had said, and there was no going back on our friendship. It was over. I unfriended her on social media and deleted her number and all of her messages. But by the way, you can never delete us. We'll always be here, and you can always listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. There's a little bit more.
I think it's just I think there's too many feelings.
Yeah.
And I think your friend, Jonna, is mostly just kind of miserable. You've kind of internalized that as her being not caring about you, and maybe she doesn't because she's too busy being miserable to care about her friends properly.
Yesterday, almost 2 weeks later, she sent me a text about how God was being so good to her by taking me out of her life.
Shut
that I am
up, girl.
Fake.
You let your cat die from kidney stones. You're trash.
That I am fake. I am much stupider than she realized. I talk nonsense. I don't deserve to have her as a friend after all the good things she's done for me. And added some laughing emojis.
Yeah, she had some boxed wine before she sent that, for sure.
She's just typing it, taking a sip, typing more, taking another sip, laughing a little bit.
She's just got like the...
She's got a hamster thing, so she can just lick it.
Yeah, she's got
I'm not minding that for you. It was a vile, ugly little message, but I'm not mad at her. I feel really sorry for her. I have now blocked her. I thought you already did that. And I do feel sad. I thought we had a good friendship and that talking things out would help us both. I guess she didn't feel the same way. That's the end of that story.
Don't cry over spilt milk, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's just get John out of here. Let's find some cool people that support us and are cool.
They're out there, you know? There's plenty of people out there who are cool
And probably also have cats and take them to the vet.
and would like you for liking cats.
That's the end of that story. And we got another one. My girlfriend tested me and it didn't sit well with me.
Maybe you should stand up for it.
My girlfriend told me that she tested me by canceling a date when we first started to go out. It was the date where we were kind of planning to hook up for the first time. For context, she lives in the city while I have an hour drive. By the way, this comes from HorrorIntelligent348, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Keon.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, she waited until I was halfway to the city before canceling. I remember texting her as I got into the car and telling her I was on my way, and she still waited until I was halfway to the city. She had a lot of opportunity to cancel before I had driven half an hour. The date being canceled sucked, but she told me she was feeling sick, and I told her it was okay and told her to get better. I had also asked her if she wanted me to come over, and she said she didn't want to. She told me that it was a big moment for our relationship, as she found out that I am very considerate, but honestly, I get why she wanted to test me, but I'm really pissed off in the way she tested me. She had no consideration for my time and effort. It was as if she really wanted to inconvenience me to see how I would react.
Also, your gas.
Yeah, more so than gas. I told her that it was pretty inconsiderate to wait until I had driven halfway to cancel, and she had been really inconsiderate in the way she tested me. She apologized half-heartedly and then said it was not a big deal and it has been 4 months. I told her it was a big deal to me and we had an argument about it. I feel like an a-hole because it feels really small to get mad about. Am I the a-hole? Judgment, not the a-hole.
I would be upset about it.
Top relevant comments. Interesting C7815. Not the a-hole. I'm a woman and women who test men piss me off. If you need to see how a dude would respond to a certain situation, you can always pose a hypothetical. Hey, so the other day my friend had to cancel on a guy who was on his way to see her and he got all mad. At least she's seeing the red flags now. Then see what the guy says. It's not rocket surgery. Testing is another word for manipulating and it's gross. OP says, I mean, I kind of get it though. Some people say all the right things but never carry through. I wouldn't mind if she had canceled that date before I left my home. It is just that she waited until I had left home and driven halfway over till she canceled that I feel is an issue for me. Love Me Long Time says she should have kept quiet about her little test. Your behavior on that day was appropriate and consider it good for you. Obviously, you passed. But now going forward, when anything comes up, you may be wondering, is this a test? And is this a test? And is this a test? Because yeah, it might be. You need to have a little discussion about this. This is not a small thing to get mad about. Not the a-hole. Storm Grin says, this right here. She's now admitted to lying to test you. So how the heck could you possibly rely on what she says now? You could make yourself go crazy second-guessing her actions. Not the a-hole. There's better women out there.
Hey, we're not saying break up.
That's everybody in these comments is saying break up. I'm kind of like, listen, you're 4 months in. Things are fresh. This was a while ago. You sit down and you say, hey, really didn't like that. It's kind of still upsetting me. Can we like make a promise that if you ever feel the need to like test me again, we just like talk about it?
Yeah, and also like you're now everything feels like it might be a test from here on out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
which
why
is-
you're like, we promise no more tests.
Yeah, exactly. This is I think is a conversation, but the thing I don't like is how she responded. It was like it wasn't that big of a deal.
I just don't think. Yeah, that's why I'm like, sit down and tell her that it actually bugs
It's
you.
4 months in, it's a big deal.
Throw it away, though, says, not the a-hole. People who test their significant others in any way are walking red flags. Deleted says, not the a-hole. I'd dump a girl who effed with my time just to test me in a heartbeat. I'm not a guinea pig, and you don't have the right to toy with me. Such disrespect.
I think the comments are coming a little aggressive to your partner.
I think the comments are a little bit aggressive to the situation. I think that it can warrant a conversation that's hopefully leading to an apology first. If she continues to like double down and still test you, then sure. Then that's like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah, that, and I would also agree again when how she responded. So not that big of a deal. Then I'd be like, all right, we have to have a real conversation because not okay. the way she did the test, doing the test, all of it, not
Silly,
good in any.
stupid.
Yeah, it's very, very dumb, and the way she did it, and the way she went about it, very dumb.
Update 2 months later. My post received a lot of attention, and I saw a lot of people supporting me, and a few giving a different perspective. I decided I need to have one more conversation about it with her, but she didn't respond well, and got defensive, and started to try to make me seem like a crappy boyfriend.
Oof, and this is where you say, you know what? This is my test.
I broke up with her a week after I posted.
Ooh.
I think I would have been able to get over it if she had felt guilty about it and apologized, but she didn't think it was a big deal at all and just tried to make me feel bad that I even brought it up. And by the way, I'm going to bring up to you guys that you can listen to more full episodes of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. Just a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if she kept going with it,
She's going to double down on that. Like, she'll always test you. You're just never going to be able to live in peace.
and the fact that she could be like, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal.
You made me drive an hour for nothing.
Almost
knew
2 hours. It could have been 2 hours too.
If she let him fully get
If
there.
can you
Yeah.
imagine if she let
Well,
him
that would
fully
be
go?
insane. If I was actually already there, I'd be like, I'm bringing you soup or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you dodged a bullet there, OP. The fact that she didn't own any of that and just blatantly won't take accountability and doesn't see your side of things, you dodged a bullet. So, good for you, OP.
Breaking up with her didn't go well. She called me names and then accused me of breaking up with her so that I could date men. I'm bi. Well, I am happy that I broke up with her early on instead of wasting my time on her. I seem to be attracted to and attract the attention of controlling people, and I need to work on that, and I'm going to stay single for a while. Some final top relevant comments. Commenter 1 says, message her in a month and say dumping her was a test. Then again an hour later to say the previous message was a test. Opie says, this is hilarious, but I'm planning to block her and lose her number. Entire Kangaroo 148 said, that's a classier and the right thing to do. The idea is still hilarious. Deleted says, dude, don't blame yourself for the crappy people you meet in life. It's not like you appreciate people who try to control you. You just happen to find one. Another commenter says, sometimes people do attract certain types. I only realized after quite a while that I attract really needy people, realizing that I was able to make an effort to find different partners. Another commenter says, wow, and she turned out to be biphobic. Good job on leaving that situation. It really was an inconsiderate test. Another commenter says, so let me get this straight. A, she canceled on you when you'd driven halfway there. That alone isn't an issue. People can go from fine to ill in way less than 30 minutes. It kind of sucks, but the rest of the stuff here makes this seriously not okay. B, she later reveals it was a test and she wasn't unwell after all. The fact she said that at all is an issue, and that soon after that fact is a red flag on its own. C, she doesn't apologize and gets pissed off about it without realizing she was in the wrong. Issue 2. D, right when you are very rightly left the blatant biphobia. Need I say more? If you were to date a guy after, that's not even her effing business. You didn't do anything wrong here, obviously. Just block and move on. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, sounds like you dodged a bullet.
Dodged a big one.
My adoptive mother said I betrayed her because I found my biological family.
Yeah, how dare you, I guess.
So I am adopted. I was adopted at 8 months old and knew nothing about my bio family. The only thing I knew was I went into foster care at birth when my bio mom did not give bio dad info, so he could release me for adoption. By the way, this comes from Pleasant Computer 544, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comment. Court released his rights when I was 8 months old. I do not remember any of this, but it is important for later. Once I was adopted, I grew up with the parents who would always be my mom and dad. I am now married with 3 kids. 6 years ago, in my late 30s, my husband gifted me with an Ancestry DNA kit for my birthday. Nothing comes from it but a little heritage like European ancestry. 9 months ago, 2 weeks before my 43rd birthday, a first cousin matches on Ancestry. Cousin and I talk, and she thinks her uncle might be my bio dad, and sure enough, he is. I look just like him. There's no denying it. He and I talk, and he never knew I was born and that he even had a kid. He tells me who my bio mom might be, and I reach out to her. She confirms everything. All bio family is excited to meet me and know me. I have 6 half siblings. I understand bio mom was wrong not to tell bio dad. She was forced by parents to give me up. It was the 80s, so she was actually sent away for the entire school year. There are a lot of details to that part of the story, but it is not the question I am asking. I cannot change the past, only move forward at this point. Over the last 9 months, my bio mom has come to meet me. We are 8 hours apart. I went to meet my bio dad and we are 6 hours apart. Everything is great except my adoptive mom is upset and does not like us meeting. She requests we do not share on social media and gets upset knowing I want a friendship with my bio family. She says things like, "Most people do not get a whole new family at 43 years old." This past weekend, my daughter is in her school play as a main character and my mom could not come. So, bio mom asked if she could make the trip and watch the play. Of course, I said yes. She drove 8 hours and the weekend went well. To respect my mom, no one shares anything on social media or says anything. Bio mom makes a blue app post that she has made it home safely from a trip, and my mother-in-law comments, "It was nice meeting her." Well, my adoptive mom sees it and gets super upset, starts passive-aggressively posting about depression and how her grandchildren will not know her, etc., in all-out petty fit. Then the next day, bio mom makes a post about dealing with traffic. I comment to her about being close to her work, and then adoptive mom jumps on and says, "Seems like you've been there." Bio mom responds that I have never been there, and adoptive mom admits it was a petty comment and to forget she said it. My mom has a history of being upset when things do not go exactly the way she wants it to. Example, when I got married almost 22 years ago, she was so mad at me she would not hug me because I would not let my stepdad walk me down the aisle. I had my dad. We had issues for a few years, and I finally had to let it go and forgive her. When I had my second child, she was mad my in-laws traveled to be with us during the birth. I am not sure what she expected, but she wanted to be the only parent there. I am also dealing with high anxiety out of all of this. I feel guilty meeting my bio family, like hardcore guilt, and my husband keeps telling me that I should not feel that way. I really do try to twist myself into a pretzel to make everyone happy, but generally, no one is, and I'm concerned I will have high blood pressure or an ulcer with the amount of anxiety I'm constantly feeling about all of this. So thoughts or advice are welcomed. Am I the a-hole for meeting my bio family? We have tried to be respectful of my mom's feelings, but it does not seem to matter what we do. It is never enough for her. And we have some comments, but what say you?
I say your mom's being weird, and maybe we need to have a heart-to-heart about like what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Is she feeling like threatened by this family, thinking that you're gonna like them more or
Right.
something? Does she feel inadequate as a mother already, and this is just like adding on to that insecurity? Like,
Right. It's like you're getting a new family at 43. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you're still my mom.
it's like, no, dude, you never showed me who my bio family
right.
was.
It's
I'm
kind of
just curious.
cool.
Yeah.
See where I came from.
That's
I don't
all.
know.
They're being all so nice.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can all chill.
We have some comments. Comment 1. You're entitled to want to meet your bio family, and your mom is entitled to feel however she likes about that. She obviously feels like she's being replaced, so you need to sit down and talk like adults, or your relationship is not headed to a good place. Everyone seems oddly calm and resentment-free about the situation, given your bio mom hid your entire existence from your bio dad for decades, so basically robbed him of his bio kid. Same for your half siblings. No reason is given for why she gave you up and made no attempt at contact at any point, etc., etc. OP replies, "My mom and I have talked about it. On the phone, she lives in another state. She says she's okay with all of it, and then she isn't. Making everything about herself is nothing new. She was mad when I got married and made the planning process a miserable event. Mad when I had my second kid, etc. If it's not the way she envisions things, she gets upset. As for biomom, I know she was forced to give me up, including being sent away for a year while she had me. She told me she wanted to keep me, but her mom wouldn't let her. She was told if she didn't give up Biodad's name, then I couldn't be adopted. To her, that meant she would have to bring me home at some point. Obviously, it didn't work that way. Biodad is upset with Biomom, and Biomom has told me she is 100% at fault for keeping it a secret. I wouldn't say we are all calm, but at this point, no one can change what has happened. Only move forward. Commenter 2 says, okay, I'm gonna say not the a-hole, because you didn't mean to harm your mother, but hiding the reunion from her was not a good move. First, let me tell you that I think it is really cool that everything seems to be going well with your biological parents and relatives. Family has been my main source of joy my entire life, and it makes me happy seeing other people reconnecting and generally building a familial bond. And that's also why I'm upset you're not taking your adoptive mother's feelings more seriously. I don't mean to say that you have to avoid your bio family, but please understand that your adoptive mother is now reliving the grief and fears that led her to adopt you in the first place. She's dealing with a huge amount of imposter syndrome. Sounds like she's thinking that everything she did for you isn't worth much in comparison to being blood related to someone else. It doesn't sound like those negative feelings are true for you, so please, I beg you, reassure your mother as much as you can that she is your mom, that nothing can change that your children will know her as their grandma. Let her know that you're not replacing her with anybody, that your reconnection with your bio family isn't going to change anything between you two. Put effort into showing her and letting her know that she is, in fact, your mother. I promise if you do that, she'll be cool with you hanging out with your biological family. Hopefully, she'll even let them become part of hers. OP responds, I have been doing that from the beginning. I never hid anything from her. I told my mom from the very beginning of my cousin finding me what was happening, and at first she was just as excited as I was, not sure when and why it suddenly turned. She requested we keep everything a secret and not share us meeting. We are doing all of this out of respect for her, but she's still mad. And by the way, I would be mad if you didn't go listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime.
You hear that, guys? She's gonna be mad at you.
I am. You better go listen. But after this story.
Yes.
You gotta hear this one first. We've got, it looks like, just maybe an edit. So,
Yeah.
final thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with those comments that say, like, we need to think about the mom's feelings. And it seems like OP is, but it's just kind of, like, I feel like we just maybe aren't getting all the information that OP has. Like, we're not getting much of the conversation with the adoptive mom. So I'm sure, like, if they've gotten to the point where they have tried more and more things to make her comfortable, then I'm sure they're having conversations about it.
100%.
So
it seems like adoptive mom still wants to have a problem with it regardless.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the reassurance and things that you could try don't work, maybe just like therapy with you and your adoptive mom, just to like remind her, like, you're still my mom, like nothing's gonna change, and just get like all the feelings out.
Right. And maybe talking about it just won't help anymore either at a certain point. Like, I think definitely try that, but I mean, like, if it still doesn't work, then, like, you know, maybe it just needs to be the thing where with your actions, like, you just happen to spend more time with each other more, something like that. And I think, you know, it's important for you to understand that she is her own person and has her feelings too. I'm sure you know that at your age. But I also feel like she needs to still understand that, like, you have your own experiences too, and like she doesn't understand what you're going through.
But we have an edit. At some point, after everyone was known, she changed and got very upset. I told Biomom in the first conversation that I have a mom and I would never call her mom. I have also reassured my mom the same thing. I wanted my mom to be involved, but she doesn't want to be. My mom requested we not share our visits on social media or say anything because it bothers her. I'm doing that out of respect for her wishes, but she still gets mad. Also, my mom lives a 24-hour drive away from me, so inviting her over or making her physically a part of any visit is not doable. But I've only met Biomom in person 2 times and Biodad 1 time, as we also all live in different states. This is all still so new for everyone, including myself. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
That's the other thing. Like, this is so new. Maybe just giving it the time to settle.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just a lot of processing on both ends. Yeah, totally.
I caught my boyfriend searching his exes while lying next to me.
Keon would never do that, would you?
Things in the beginning started off amazing. He chased me. Sure, I refused a few times. Only because I was single for many years and wasn't looking for anything.
Wait, time out.
Sure, I refused a couple times because I was single.
This is like every single grandmother's
Yeah.
partner.
He followed me home, but that's love.
He slashed my tires and waited outside of my work just to drive me home.
And I said, I don't ever want to date you, sir. And he said, you will. And he was right.
I started liking him 15 years in.
I was only 15 years old.
God,
And he was 32.
I wasted so much time. I should have married him at 15 instead of 17.
I was happy alone, but he persisted, and I finally said, he seems like a nice guy, so I'll go to dinner with him.
No!
Oh boy. By the way, this comes from Shy Dakota, 13. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
That's Keon.
That's Keon. That's our producer, guys.
Yeah, that's Keon.
Hey guys, it's me.
OP says he was a gentleman. Sweet, kind, consistent, with good morning and good night texts, phone calls, and the spicy sleep was plentiful and fun.
Dude, that
Who
sounds
says
like Keon.
plentiful?
Plentiful.
Who says plentiful for spicy sleep?
Yeah,
It was
my
plentiful.
girlfriend does it.
Oh wow.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
For my birthday, he got a hotel, and we spent the night together in the mountains and had drinks, food, and fun.
Dude, this sounds like something Keon would do.
Seriously, this man was amazing, just like Keon. Everything I've ever wanted. I'm an extremely anxious person just from trauma and bad experiences in my life. A part of me was thinking he's love bombing me, but I've never experienced what felt like genuine care before, so I just rolled with it. Something kept telling me this was gonna take a 180.
Get that gut feeling.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what love feels like, but I'm not sure if this is it.
Do you see that, Keon?
One day, laying lazy in my bed, I said, let me see your camera roll, just to see what kind of pics he has. He's an outdoorsy person, and I wasn't expecting anything at all. But one after the other were pics of spicy women, unclothed women, his friends sending him things, him sending them things with crude comments. I'm sorry, he just let you see. He just showed that to you willingly?
Keon, do you do this with your friends?
No.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
That would be
okay.
really bad.
Do you do this with your friends?
I don't really talk to my friends like that. I don't text my
You're just-
friends stuff.
I just don't talk to my friends.
Actually, I do text my friends memes,
That's
and
true, you
only a
do.
few of them respond.
I was absolutely appalled at how much was in his phone, considering I saw him as nothing but a true gentleman.
Ooh, the facade.
Yeah, crumbling. I was turned off and disgusted. We got into an argument, and he said he'd delete all of them and tell his friends to stop sending him stuff for the sake of saving our relationship.
No, no.
Dude, the fact that he's like, fine, I guess I'll delete them.
Here we go. I
Why
found.
are you
I figured
saving
it out.
them?
I figured it out. You ready?
Yeah.
He's giving an action rather than what's something that's a why, like a reason.
He's not like explaining why he has them on his phone or why he saved them.
Hear me out. It's gonna take a second to get here, but you'll understand where it is. Apple, the way they make their products is not like, oh, here's an iPhone. What they do is like, this is magic. And how do they put magic?
Brand it.
The way they brand it is like comes from the why and then into the how.
Yeah.
It feels like this guy his actions are coming from a how. Like, okay, I'll just do this like an action rather than a let me understand it. Okay, let
Yeah.
me change my perspective on it.
He
then go
doesn't
from there.
understand why it's bad.
He's like, oh,
or
you want me
doesn't
to?
care.
Fine.
But as someone who's been cheated on in pretty much every relationship I've ever been in, with trust issues as it is, it altered my trust for him. I started watching him closer when we went out, and he had wandering eyes. I'd call him out on it, and he would deny it or say he was looking at something else, but in that direction. Now he's lying to me. Then it started to cross my mind that he is a lustful man.
Ooh.
Huge turnoff.
Dude, this happened to one of my friends.
That they were a lustful man.
She was seeing a guy. He was commenting on these other girls' Instagrams, being
No.
like, dang, girl, you so fine, or like some like weird stuff like that. And then I
Ew.
showed it to my girlfriend, and then she called her and
Yeah.
was like, hey, these DMs he's sending these girls or like these comments he's putting on these Instagram things, blah, blah, blah. Like, why are you putting, if you're talking to a girl, why would you put, I don't know, comments on popular.
Yeah, on a public, or where people can see it.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Sometimes people need a plan B, C, D,
I
all
guess
the way
so.
through Z.
Make a fake
mean,
account.
Yeah, I
Not
at least do
even.
it in the DMs. Doing it right in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
I was getting a bunch of, this is only tangentially related, but I was getting a bunch of, in my comments, like, random men who follow me
Heck yeah.
being like, oh, hi, like stuff like that. I was showing a comment unrelated to that to my boyfriend. And he was like, he saw it and he was like, block. He was like, block, report. He was like, report. I'm like,
Do you get that? I
yeah.
don't even get that.
Well, I mean, you're not a woman. We had each other added on Facebook, and after all this, I thought about his friends list. I scrolled, and it looked like he went to an all-girls school. I clicked on a few of their pages and most didn't have his name under any of their pics. So I said at least he isn't liking all their photos when he has a girlfriend. Well, he's following all of them. Which is true for women, that seeing your man's name under all these photos is embarrassing for us. Anyway, I stopped the stalking. One day, just scrolling my own, the people you may know section showed up, and a girl popped up and it said he was a mutual friend. I clicked on her profile, and one after the other, he liked all her photos, recent, old ones, except if she was posed with another guy. He wouldn't like those. Oh, I wonder why. So I brought it up to him and asked about her, calmly, of course, not accusing, just asking who she was, etc. He immediately got defensive and angry with me, which was the first I'd seen this side of him.
Uh-oh, he got caught.
Uh-oh, it's crazy that, like, this is what makes him mad, you know?
I'd like to see everyone's Explorer page after this.
Mine's a lot of, food.
I feel like if you look at someone's Explorer page on Instagram, you'll see who they are as a person.
Mine has been deeply affected, though, by my boyfriends.
You don't want to see mine.
Yeah.
We're going to look at everyone's.
He said he used to like her back in the day when they were growing up, but she told him there would never be anything between them. I said I'm not okay with you still being friends with someone you used to want, and you're still actively liking all their photos. I felt there were still some old feelings there. I asked him to delete her, and he got mad and shut down. He did eventually, and we moved on from it. A few weeks went by, and we got into an argument about who knows what. We stopped talking for the day, and a few hours later, I went to look at his Facebook, and his number went up by 1. I looked through his friends list, and she was back on there. I confronted him about it and said, "We get in a fight and you go at her back?" He admitted he did it to make me mad and out of spite. Break up. Done. That's it.
We're playing games here. Not
Yeah.
worth it.
We talked things through, though, and I asked him to delete her yet again, and he got mad yet again, but he did remove her.
Okay.
This is terrible.
Why are we playing this?
Yeah. Like, oh, just do it, please. Okay. You're mad about it? Okay. Now my trust was just being chipped away like a meteor falling on a building, damaging the whole foundation. Months went by, and we got into arguments here and there again. Long story short, each time we got in a fight, he'd add her back. Why are we letting this happen? Break up.
So he's stringing her along, is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing. Like OP and this girl.
Yeah. He's added her back 5 times over the last 3 to 4 months. Our fights got more severe each time, and he said he only adds her back because we're fighting. I kept telling him we only fight because you're adding these women from your past, and I'm not okay with it. Like, can we conclude this is a problem? So stop doing it? Then he told me the only girl I should be threatened by is another girl. Let's say her name is Samantha.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, now he's telling on himself? He's like, you
Oh.
shouldn't even be threatened by her. You should be threatened by Samantha. And she's like, who is Samantha? He says he wanted to marry her. She's everything he's ever wanted. She loves to fish, hunt, outdoorsy stuff, everything he loves, but she rejected him back in the day as well. I wonder why. This guy's such an upstanding guy. He talked proudly of her. She was in cheer, an overachiever, went to college, etc. And he was the nerd with the big 80s glasses who never did anything with his life.
Oh my gosh.
I looked for this girl on his Facebook to see if they were friends, and they were not. Okay, no worries. We all have old flings. No! OP! He literally said, she is everything that I want, and the only reason I'm not with her is because she rejected me.
And I guess I'm with you.
Yeah, I guess you'll do.
Keon, what do you think
huh?
of this?
I mean, he's been caught many times already, like with lies and like.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we entertaining this?
I don't
Are you
know.
bored, OP? Do you like a project?
I guess so.
You want to manage
This
something.
is a hard project.
You know, you can do projects, get paid for it.
Yeah, you're not even getting paid for this. This is charity work. A few weeks passed, and we were both at my house sitting on the couch, and I just had a random thought. My anxiety and overthinking took over. I asked to see his Facebook, and he opened it. I clicked on the search button, and she was in his search, including a few other girls, including his ex. I said, "Why are you searching for them? Are you keeping dibs or what's going on?" He said no, and that he accidentally clicked on their names while reading other friends' comment sections that they're mutual with. Liar!
That's not how that works. That's
You're
not
literally
how
a
the search
liar.
bar works.
I did not believe him at all. I asked him to block her so he wouldn't keep clicking on them. He did.
How many
Dude,
lies has
Why
it
do
been?
we have to keep going through the same thing?
How many lies has it been now? Like,
Yeah.
So many.
Is he hot? Also OP?
I
You're
doubt
the
it.
a-hole.
More weeks passed, and he went up hunting by himself every weekend to camp. We stayed in touch, text, call. He let me know when he was going to bed, and we talked the next day.
What was he hunting?
For women,
Ooh.
women's numbers, consistent relationship stuff. This was about 4 weeks ago to this day. Just the other night, we were on the phone together, and I had him on speaker while scrolling Facebook in the background. The friends thing popped up again, and I saw Samantha's profile. It said, one mutual friend. My stomach literally dropped. I clicked on it, and sure enough, it was him. I let out a disappointed sigh and just thought, not again. He asked, what? I said, when did you add her? Immediately, he started yelling and cussing at me, just too much going on for asking a question. Why are we still here? The thing is, like, you were single for so long, and yet I don't think that actually helped you learn how to respect yourself. I think hopefully you can go to therapy because there's still work to be done if this is like treatment that you're accepting. I asked again when he added her, and he said when he was up camping a few weeks ago. He was laying in bed, night, bored, thought of her, and went and added her. I said that is absolutely not okay, that you re-added someone who you told me is a threat to me, and that you wanted to marry because she was perfect to you. What message does that send to me? At this point, I'm feeling like crap, like I'm not good enough. I asked calmly for him to remove her because it hurts me and really makes me uncomfortable. He let out a solid but stern no.
Whoa.
I took a deep breath and calmly asked again. No. I said, so you're fine making your girlfriend, who you're allegedly in love with, uncomfortable for your own sake? He told me I needed to figure my own crap out so I wouldn't be making myself feel this way, and that I'm hurting my own feelings.
Blah, 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 blah. OP, I think you're the problem now too.
Yeah.
You're both toxic for one another.
Yeah. We're just stuck here.
I think OP likes the arguments.
You think so?
I don't
OP
know.
likes
It's
being a
just we're
sleuth and like, oh
stuck.
my god, I'm like, she's like hyper fixated on like, who's you friends with? Who's he?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Like, this is
He
so
keeps doing
damaging
it.
to
The fact that
you.
he's done it so many times and you keep repeating the process,
Yeah, it's like you set these boundaries that mean absolutely nothing. Like the boundaries are made of jello.
it's not healthy in any way. It's very toxic. But they love to do arguments.
Yeah.
They like to argue. They love to do stuff like this.
I was with a girl like that.
Who like to argue?
Yeah, we like to argue back and forth.
Just tiny little things. And like, this is not healthy on any part on his part. But like, you should have broken up with him the first two lies or first lie of like, what are we doing?
What hurt the most was him continuing to add these girls that he used to have a fling with, knowing I don't like it and that it hurts me. I can forgive the first time, but the other girls 5 times and this one once, I can't forgive 6 times.
See what I'm
6
talking about?
times?
Yeah, 6 times.
But you've forgiven 5 times already. That's intentional at this point. It's been intentional since the first time. What hurts the most is the thought of him laying alone when his mind should be on me, thinking about other women he once wanted and seemingly still does. No seemingly, just still does. I said, I feel like I'm sharing you at this point. And he said, I'm not. They're just friends. They're not your friends. I can guarantee that if he asked any of those women, are we friends? They'd say no. I said, they're not your friends, in my eyes, if you wanted a future with both of them and your name keeps popping up under their photos. Samantha's too. I'm here. I'm ready. I love you. And you can't get your mind off these women that rejected you 2 decades ago.
Ooh, okay. You know what would help for context in this scenario?
How old they are?
How old they are, what colleges they go to, and what kind of clubs they're in.
I don't think he went to college. Because he said one of the reasons that he liked his old fling was because she went to college. And he was like, oh, and I'm just the guy who went nowhere. So I don't think he went to college.
Because this is reminding me of one of my friend's roommates.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the army, and then he started dating this girl that goes to college. This girl is in college right now. They broke up for one night because Georgia was in town, and she wanted to go to the frat parties while the Georgia people were in town. And then they got back together the next day. And I'm just thinking of them because this is sort of the back and forth that they go through. And it's just like, oh, I don't know if that
I found
made any
some
sense.
relevant information of how long this couple has been together.
You found some?
At least for OP and her boyfriend. Do you guys want to guess?
6 months?
I really want this to be no longer than 6 months.
It's 6 months
Oh, wow.
on the
Nailed
money.
it. You're
Yeah.
on a roll. This guy continues to say, he said, we'll talk about this later. And I said, okay, and hung up. Immediately after, I thought, this man does not care about my feelings or respect me. How can you say you love me while continuously doing the things I've mentioned hurt me? Why can't I have someone to myself for once in my life? I decided after I hung up, I can't keep doing this. He's a grown man. I have communicated calmly like an adult to him what hurts me, and all I get back is yelling, shouting, and disrespect. He knows what he did. I'm done. I don't need to keep telling a grown man how he's ending our relationship. He's been blowing up my phone this week, calling, texting, saying he loves me, misses me, and wants to talk to me and find out what's wrong. Like, seriously, I can't make you see what I've been telling you for months? By the way, I hope that you can see that you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio so you don't miss anything for months. Just search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
I can't take it anymore.
I can't take it. This is the build-up. The build-up of just break up.
Nobody's like, he's a grown
He's
man.
a grown man. You're a grown woman. Break up.
Everyone has jobs. Everyone knows what to do.
What was that?
This past week, I've also been looking into the psychology of all this, and it's the fact
No!
he never felt good enough for these two women, and that they rejected him. Why are we spending time on the psychology?
There's something wrong with me and I need to fix it. That's what she's thinking.
He can't get over it, and by adding them back, it's a hopefully they'll see me now kind of thing. Who cares? I can't compete with ghosts from his past or the fact he has low self-esteem and is chasing something he never accomplished. I deserve better. I may have anxiety, trust issues, and overthink at times, understandably, but I'm a good woman. I cook, I clean, I satisfy my man. I'm loyal, honest, don't cheat, and don't yell. Asking to be your one and only and asking for reassurance isn't asking a lot in my eyes. It's the bare minimum. Am I the a-hole for ghosting my boyfriend of 6 months?
Yes!
You
yes, you
ghosted?
are.
After all of that time, complaint. You couldn't even just say, like, we're breaking up.
You're the a-hole, OP.
It really feels like OP couldn't even break up with him. She just said, I give up. Bye.
I'm going to block my boyfriend.
That is so child. Ghosting when you're above 21. When you're of the legal drinking age. I mean, it's stupid before then. But once you're after 21, it's like really like, what?
I feel like
are
back
you
in the day, it's
doing?
like, why will you not return my calls?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think ghosting's okay within the first few dates. I don't know. Maybe.
Nah, I think once you met a person, you should. I don't think you should ghost.
You haven't ghosted anyone?
I'm not saying that I haven't, but I did it pre-21 because I didn't know how to be an adult, and I was scared of rejecting people, and so I
Yeah.
just never texted them. I never did it after a date, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
I have. All right, well, that's the end of that story.
Let's go.
My boyfriend's mother controls everything, including our relationship.
Maybe you should date her.
So, for context, we've been dating for almost a half a year now. He's my first true love, and he says I'm his first true love too. We have both already talked about marriage, and we both want marriage with each other.
Dang.
By the way, this comes from username Lurksta. If you want to submit your own stories, go to our OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Vincent,
I'm Sophia.
and we're here to give good advice goofily. But we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. We want a family together. Wow. And we have a very serious and committed relationship. And we both are aware of this, and this is what we both want with each other. He's everything I ever wanted in a relationship. He's kind, treats me well, everything, but there's one issue I cannot shake off.
Uh-oh.
That's two things you wanted in a
He's
relationship.
kind. He treats me well.
That's like the base two.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, that's kind of. I would hope so.
But there's one issue I cannot shake off. He's a mama's boy.
Uh-oh.
Not just any mama's boy, but like he wants to live the rest of his life with her type of mama's boy. The type that tells his mom everything, even confidential things I tell him. He needs his mom's advice for everything. He even once told me that I talked to my mom and she said, you can move in with us, but you have to pay your part of the bills.
I talked to my mom and she said you could sleep over,
Well, Mom-
but you have to ask your mom.
Okay, it sounds like this son is a bit of,
It sounds like he's more than a bit of a mama's boy.
yeah, more than a bit of his mom boy, and a bit of like I'm trying to find the word for it.
Yeah.
It's like
Coward?
Oh, little that, but also they've been coddled. They've they're very it's gonna eat me up. It's like We'll come back to it.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
You'll
to
find it.
I'll find it. Shouldn't it be common sense you will live with your significant other once married and stuff? Which, yeah, I get. You can love your mom, but it's to the point where when he tries to tell me stuff, he will say, other than my mom, at the end.
I need examples.
Yeah.
What does that mean? He's like, well, I don't even know what he's saying there.
How? Yeah.
Other
But,
than
hey,
my
we
mom?
have an example.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
By example, he once told me, you're always my favorite person. No, I see where this is going. And I will always love you, but not as much as my mom.
What?
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 And I just feel like the little comments he makes like that are super unnecessary, because they are. Last night, he was pretty upset about some stuff, so he went to talk to his mom. I texted him if everything was okay and told him if he ever needs anything, me and his mom will always be there for him. Then he replied with, I don't want people taking care of me other than my mom.
What?
And,
Girl, we got to get out of here. Either this man is 17 and has never been outside of his house, or this is really, really concerning.
This is an incredibly
Already a little
immature
concerning.
behavior.
Yeah.
And you're going to end up being his mom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's just going to have two moms.
And I already kind of talked to my mom, and she is the only one that can understand, so it's okay now. Which left me feeling odd. Which I get, yes, a mother and son's bond is special, but I felt invalidated. This is a little bit extra special. But I felt invalidated and a little hurt that he doesn't want me being there for him or anything. I tried to sleep it off, but I couldn't. I was just hoping I misunderstood or something, and that he actually wants me to be there for him and let me love him and take care of him, like a normal relationship. But then, today, I felt like I had to tell him how I felt, so I sent him a simple text explaining how I felt. I told him something he said the other day upset me, and he asked to know, so I told him how I felt. How I felt like everything I did to be there for him went unappreciated and that it meant nothing for him. And he sent a pretty nasty reply back saying he doesn't want anyone there for him but his mom.
Dude, you're going to wind up alone with your mom. Don't worry. No one's going to be there for you but your mom.
And that I need to learn to focus on myself instead because I need help. And he said we weren't married, so I don't need to know everything in his life. Like, yes, I know we aren't actually married, but I just feel like if we have to have a serious and committed relationship and we plan on getting married, shouldn't we be getting prepared for that life together? Was it necessary to be that rude?
No.
No. I feel like in a relationship, you should be there for each other. I can't be his only emotional support, yes, but I feel like I should at least be an emotional support. I feel like you guys not being married, this is like your cue to get out. He's
Yeah.
like, you're not married. Also, you don't need to be there.
No, it's so good that you guys are not married. And also, it seems like you're pretty young. You'll bounce back. You'll find someone who's not in love with his mom. And then everything will be better.
The world is big and life is long.
The world don't revolve around his mom.
Ooh, bars.
Yeah, that was a team effort.
Like it. I felt very hurt, and right now I just don't know what to say or do to him.
Break up? I want to break up?
Yes. I don't want to leave him because everything else in our relationship is perfect.
Girly, what part of your relationship is perfect?
The two parts that you said were perfect are he's now gone against.
Yeah.
Treats you nice.
He does not treat you nice.
I forgot the first one.
Kind.
But it was
Was it
that's
kind of the same?
that's
That's
one
the same
thing.
thing.
That's one thing. And that is driving me insane. And don't get me wrong, his mom isn't rude. She's nice to me, but she says and acts like a mama's boy's mom, making me feel like that's why he's the way he is. Yeah, it is.
Mhm.
Holding his hand in public, he sleeps with her at times.
This is Game of Thrones?
This is Game of Thrones. Makes little jokes around me like he's mine and
Ooh.
laughing it off. It doesn't
Ooh.
sit right with me. He's making me feel like the bad guy, and I just don't know if I'm in the wrong or right for feeling this way. I also really don't know what to do. There is an update.
I know what to do. Break up. It's pretty obvious.
Update. I chickened out on doing anything about it. I apologize for what I said and moved on. I can't risk losing him, nor do I want to break up with him as much as I don't want to live a life like this. It's your one life.
OP, you only got one life. Don't waste it on this guy.
Don't compromise it for a dude
Yeah.
who's
Guys,
into his
don't waste more than 5 months on bad people.
That's a good
Just
rule to
5
live by.
months. 5 months. You know what? Like, you can't really tell usually right away. By the 5-month mark.
You get a pretty good sense of a person.
Yeah. Don't waste your time on them.
Yeah. I feel stuck and trapped, like I can't do anything about it. But the thing is, I know I can. Good, you can.
Yes.
I just need to plan this out because I can't live like this forever. Update number 2. Ooh, okay. I'm having another talk with him about how I feel like he's been acting so odd today. And now he's saying he feels like an emotional support person instead of my partner, and now he feels forced into this relationship. Oh, he's moving in the direction we are.
Yep.
I'm starting to feel like I might be the a-hole. I can't stop panicking.
OP.
Update number 3. So many updates. I asked to have a serious talk with him. He's been working, so he's been too busy to, but we found time for tomorrow. I'm nervous, but since update 2, I've been working on my mental health and trying to cope and expect the worst. I mean, the worst is you guys break up
Yeah.
and you have your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, that's literally the worst.
Update 4. A friend of his told me he's planning to break up with me
Well,
today.
okay. Little Paul Revere over here.
She gave me the receipts of the screenshots and everything, and she's been amazing.
Sick.
I'm going to end up doing it first. Yeah.
Nice.
Beat
Okay,
him
so
to the punch.
I'm not letting you can't break up with me. I'm breaking up with you.
I'm breaking up with you. I talked to her about if she noticed he's being a mama's boy too, and she said 100%. She has eyes. And that she knows more about how he is with his mom than I do, which concerns me a bit.
What does that mean?
By the way, you know what's not concerning?
What?
You can listen to full episodes of stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime.
It's true.
There's another update.
Oh, man. It never stops with this guy.
I want to know what
Yeah.
her friend knows that you don't.
Yeah, I mean, for her to be like, there's even more.
And-
I'd be like, sorry, what?
She's being like, oh, you think that's the worst of it?
She's like, flashbacks.
You've got no idea.
There's
Like
so much more. Vietnam War.
Like,
yeah.
like Vietnam, there's like...
Like gunfire in the background.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She's like, come back to me. Come back to me.
Update 5.
Oh, boy.
We are now broken up.
Yes.
He wants to keep a positive relationship between us, and I'll try, but I'm hurting. But at the same time, I feel like a weight has lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah, man. The cross is off of you.
3. Fly like a bird.
Yeah.
Update number 6. I'm friends with his ex he always talked about. She told me his mom walks in his room unclothed. What?
I'm genuinely concerned.
She told me she left him because of how he was treating her, and I'm honestly so proud of her. I wish I had her courage. She's seriously amazing.
You do have her courage.
You do. You got out.
You guys are done.
And you broke up first.
And you broke up first, man. Good job. You have courage.
I'm moving out, and I'm only telling my parents days before.
Hey, surprise, surprise.
So, right now, I, 21 female, am moving away from my parents. I haven't told them yet because I know things will hit the fan if I do. It all started one night a week ago when I told my fiance, 27 male, that the country and home I'm staying in are unaliving me from the inside. All of my social and other aspects of life are in my own home country. Now, a little bit of a backstory.
Ooh.
By the way, this comes from user Conscious Charge 7753. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon,
I'm Dakota.
and we're here to give good advice goofily. We don't have all the answers. We only know what we do, so let us know what you do in the comments, pretty please. And as OP says, I live with a mother who used to make me a little copy of her. If I didn't fit into what she thought of me, she would get angry. But she would praise me if I did fit in her little form and buy me things. My father wasn't really around because he was out of the country or working as a truck driver. I remember when he came home, he only saw how I was failing at class, not who I was. My father landed a job in the country I currently reside in. My mother also worked as a cashier, and most of the time, my grandparents took care of me, to the point where I see my grandparents as my parental figures, not my parents. I healed from some things because of them. They're not perfect, but they shouldn't have had to take care of kids that weren't theirs. It was thrown onto them as my parents moved in with us. My mother hid my autism diagnosis for 5 years from my grandparents, and I think because of that, they thought I was spoiled.
Ooh.
Interesting.
That's weird. Again, sort of like the narcy kind of angle.
It's because, again, you're different from your mother, but he didn't think that. He's
Right.
like, that's me.
I mean, there is the potential where it's like your mom is doing that from a place where she's trying to like from a positive place, right? Where it's like, well, I just want your grandparents to treat you because I don't want your grandparents to treat you differently. But it feels like it's more of like I'm ashamed of your diagnosis
Bingo.
and don't want it to reflect poorly
Yeah,
on me.
It's like which is a terrible, terrible way
Yeah.
to do to people. Nonetheless, your own kid.
Yeah.
That's crazy. My grandparents are pretty understanding when you explain things to them. But for years, I took responsibility for my mother's emotions as her friend. Gross. When I was 16, we moved to another country. Before we moved, a few months earlier, I vaguely remember my mother crying to me that she missed my father so much and that she couldn't handle it anymore. So, when my father asked if I wanted to move, I agreed without much a thought, only thinking about making my family happy and whole again. Those 5 years, I was often treated like I wasn't a member of the house. After I turned 17, they barely bought me any clothing or care products that I needed. I don't mean expensive creams or luxury items. I mean basics like shampoo that didn't make my head itch.
I wonder if that's like a byproduct of sort of that friend dynamic where it's like you become this like emotional support as a friend, like to your mom at like a age that's like way like inappropriate.
It's
like, and then
I think when you get
yeah.
to like that mature enough age where like yes they're your parents but you can see them as like friends in a sense. But I think mom is viewing it like the fact that she's like I was 16 years old and my mom considered me a friend. Where's the dynamic of mother-daughter or mother-child?
Yeah, it's
parental figure?
gotta be like 80% mom and 20% friend.
Exactly. Meanwhile, they bought a new car, new furniture, and clothes for themselves. When I stopped being fake nice to them after being treated badly, they pinned it on my ex-friends. I won't get into details about that one, but it helped me open my eyes a little bit about how my parents treated me. When I turned 20 and still lived in the house, they wanted to take my adopted brother, 34 male, back into the house. I only knew him when I was 7 and had seen him a few times as a teen. I remember that he was a very shady person. I disagreed and told him that it was a bad idea, expressing concern for their well-being. My mother told me he was good at his job and that they wanted to start a business with him.
Oh, I foresee no fraud or sketchiness in the future.
She also told me to stop crying so loudly because it was 2 a.m. and she had work the next day. Can you imagine that? Yes, I was crying because I was afraid he would put them in harm's way, because I knew what kind of person he was. In a nutshell, I was right. My adopted brother didn't take care of his dog. He took narcotics and put my father in harm's way the day they were moving stuff because he stole a car from his job and disappeared for 3 days.
Now, if his business is stealing assets from his place of business, he's pretty good at his job.
I don't know. This guy seems like he's playing Grand Theft Auto.
He's
I mean, literally did it, but
he's playing life with 5 stars.
Yeah. My parents swore he was out of the house and that they were done with him, but I saw how my mother quickly went from F him mode to, oh, you poor thing, and they took him back. Yes, again. That's crazy. Guess what? To nobody's surprise, he messed up again when my parents left to visit my grandparents. He left his dog in a hot garage. Bad.
Jail. We're sending him to jail now.
My fiance and I got the dog out. Good. When my parents returned, they finally punted him out. I had noticed before that he washed his dog's bowl in my bathroom sink. So I jokingly said, I'll pee in your kitchen sink if you keep doing that. I wouldn't. It was a joke. He cried to my father about it, and I heard from my father. Remember, that bathroom isn't fully yours. And you can move out. Nobody holds you here by force.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, dude.
Was that a joke?
Yeah, I'm really gonna pee in the sink. Yeah, that I totally meant that.
This fiasco was about 2 months ago. About the bathroom. We have 2 bathrooms, and the one I'm talking about is in the bedroom part of the house. Only I clean it with detergents that I buy. Only I supply it with everything, including the toilet paper that, guess what, they use. Everything in that bathroom is bought, cleaned, and supplied by me, except for the laundry basket my mother leaves there. Coming back to moving out, I wanted to tell them once everything was finalized, with my fiance by my side. Yes, my fiance is flying here to help me pack and move out. Recently, my father saw my fiance and told me he doesn't want to see him here unless it's necessary. Okay. I plan to tell them myself the day my fiance arrives. Of course, when moving out, I'll pay them rent, clean my room and the bathroom, and make sure I don't leave a mess or any unpaid rent behind like my adopted brother did. We'll move the boxes to the garage, where they'll wait for the moving company arriving 2 days after our departure. The only thing I'll ask my parents to do is open the garage when the movers come. Any advice, please? We have some comments.
I mean, yeah,
I think this is a part of adulthood.
yeah. It doesn't. I don't even think it needs to be a secret that you're leaving.
Yeah.
I think, especially your dad dropping the whole like, no one's making you stay here. It's
no one's
like
forcing you.
you
Yeah.
literally told me no one's making me stay here. So you guys gonna flip around and make me stay now?
And the crazy thing is, you're doing the right thing. You're like, I'm going to clean everything. I'm cleaning the room. I'm going to pay the rent. I'm doing it all by the book. What's going to stop? What's stopping me? What's going to, they can't stop me. I'm finalized everything. I feel like just telling them, unless, I mean, what are they going to do
Yeah.
in hindsight? What are they actually going to do?
I mean,
Like,
the
stop
one
you?
thing I'm thinking is that if you keep all of your stuff in the garage, I mean, it doesn't sound like they would, but like they could mess with the stuff in the boxes. They can make you lose stuff. They might not let the movers get in the garage. That's the vector where I see stuff going wrong.
No, I think you're doing everything right. And we have some comments. See what they say. Comment number 1. Better to tell them after you leave. See? Those 5 days could mean trouble that mean you are harmed or you don't leave. Pick only what you need.
I don't know if we're in that level of situation.
It doesn't seem like it's that situation. Commenter continues saying, don't worry about what's in the boxes, unless if you have a good reason to. You can donate it, or you've sold it, or you're dropping it off. Possessions can be rebought. What you thought was irreplaceable, you have your memories. Just get out. But say nothing till you are safe somewhere else. OP responds with, I have to tell them because my father will see we are moving the boxes, so it's kind of difficult not to be noticed. My father doesn't work right now, so it is hard to pass unnoticed.
I mean, I will say, like, that comment was solid for, like, anyone who is in, like,
a dire,
dangerous,
like, a
or,
dire
like-
situation.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I don't think it's like extremely dire. I think it's just like, just get out of here. kind of
Nah,
thing.
I don't think like OP's getting like locked in the cellar and
No,
like,
no. That's like intense.
But that is something that's like, yeah, if you are in a situation where you're like, what happens if they find out? It's like, you just need to get out. If you're in a place where you're worrying about your literal, like, physical safety and well-being,
Get out.
none of your stuff is really that important.
You are the most important. OP continues saying, so I wish that will happen, but they will know and my fiance will show up with me at the doorstep. And here's an update.
Oh, I hope it goes well.
Me too. Hi, everyone. The talk with my parents came before my fiance arrived. I told them the facts calmly and said that I made the decision a week ago. Why didn't you tell us earlier? They asked. I told them I wanted to wait until everything was finalized. My father accused me of knowing sooner and not telling them. I said that wasn't true. I made the call myself and that everything was organized. I told them I have a job to cover the deposit and everything with my fiance. They asked for details and I gave them the city, but not the full address. My father said, "You haven't been able to think on your own since a year and a half ago, and you treat us like trash." A year and a half ago, I started becoming emotionally and financially independent.
Yeah, there it is.
I told him that if he truly thinks that, I won't take it from him. They tried to scare me by saying I'd be doing everything on my own and that my fiance wouldn't help. Truth is, he helps a lot.
That's so funny that the guy who's literally flying in to help her move, they're trying to be like, yeah, that guy's not going to help you at all.
I would just revert back like, Dad, you said it.
Yeah.
No one's holding me here.
You literally said no one's making me stay here.
I would
literally were like, you
quote-
can leave today.
Quote unquote, Dad. So what am I doing? Hope he continues saying maybe he's not super strong, but he likes to cook, clean, and plan dates for us. They also told me that living costs will be too much and that I need to remember I'll have to buy everything, like bowls and food. I said, I'm ready for it. They, mostly my mother, started minimizing my trauma with my grandparents, saying that a few months ago, I'd say they were awful to me and that I shouldn't visit them if I went to therapy because of them. When I was in therapy, they often said I should visit anyway. I don't know if I messed up there, but yes, I had a complicated relationship with my grandparents. I really tried to make it work for the sake of my family. Now, when I said I wanted to visit them for Christmas, I found out my mother had talked to my older brother and aunt about it. She said they called me insane for saying those things about my grandparents. This part is messy for me, and I'm trying to work it out. The only thing I agreed with her on was that I had a mess in my head for a long time about them. She asked me for the reason, and when I explained, they didn't accept that. It was bad for me. At this point, I think about cutting all ties with my family. I feel betrayed. They started pushing the idea that my fiance is a parasite feeding off of my money. He isn't. He buys me things most of the time. He doesn't work, and he manipulates me, and that they're just worried. By the way, I'm worried that you won't listen to full episodes with stories just like this.
Oh, I'm biting my nails.
You can go to your favorite podcast app, such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and searching up OK Storytime. We have so many stories, and you don't want to worry, Dakota. Look at him.
Oh.
There's a little bit left. I really think this is just going to be so good for you.
I agree wholeheartedly.
It's going to be so good for you to just not deal with them, being in the same household with them, living your life, being the adult that you are. I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna at first it's gonna be a little awkward and weird, but over time, I think hopefully, things all come to fruition and it all works out. Your parents are gonna be cool about it. They'll see that you can prove them wrong, and that you're living your life, and you don't need them.
I think you can't really control how they're going to sort of emotionally react to you becoming independent, but I think, you don't have to go scorched earth, and it can just be more of like hey, you say I'm treating you like trash, but it just feels like since I've become more independent, you guys are like less accepting of me and of that fact. And I think, that's really what's at play here.
It's time for that baby bird to fly away from that nest. Go ahead and finish up the story. My fiance does work. I didn't tell them that I started a business with him that involves selling 18+ photos.
Oh, spicy business.
Interesting. That's what I want my job to be, and we both enjoy it. They would say he forced me, which isn't true. For the record, I pay rent to them. I pay for my own toiletries, toilet paper, cleaning detergents, etc. I'm writing this fresh after the talk, and my hands are still shaking.
Oh, it's like, okay.
If it feels messy, feel free to ask questions. Wish me luck. I think this is literally the first time OP's really done like a big adult thing.
Yeah.
Like without her parents. Like she's been under their roof, she's been under their parental control, and this is like really her first time. Like, I'm doing this on my own. I am flying the nest without anyone's. I'm riding the bicycle with nobody holding my back or like running with me. I'm without the.
Yeah. You're on a spicy tandem bike with your fiance.
Yeah.
I refused to house sit for my parents, and it made them explode explode
Like an atomic bomb.
This one's kind of long, so I'll give you the rundown. My parents have recently moved to a town that's more than 3 hours south of where we currently live. They own the house that my sister, her fiance, and I all currently stay in and pay rent for through a lease agreement. By the way, this comes from Outside Respect 7038, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
Donut and all of us are here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, I'm currently unemployed on a temporary layoff, but have confirmed I'm returning to work in a major city about an hour north of our home in December. My mother asked the three of us last week about potentially house sitting for a few days, all of them being weekdays at the end of January, since my dad is getting a huge award for the company he works for. I talked to my sister and her fiance about it, and they said they'd try to work it out since it wouldn't make sense for me to do it after just going back to work, and it wouldn't be a good look on my part if I suddenly took 4 days off a month in. The next day, my sister said her work as the CEO of the program she's supervising on the premises that exact week, on those exact days. That's unfortunate. This was confirmed by her higher up, meaning it would not be wise to take those days off. Her fiance isn't in any better of a spot either, strictly because he's in an IT project. Her fiance isn't in any better of a spot either, strictly because he's in an IT project management degree program at a college that is a very demanding syllabus, along with the hours he has working as a waiter. He asked, and they're not able to give them the time off either. So then it was left to me. I really didn't want to do it, but all my life I've been made to feel like the main stressor of the family, the main problem, the black sheep. Because of that, I'm locked into trying to make them as happy as I can and try not to make them angry. I told them that if it's only me as an option, it'll be an adjustment, but I'll make it work. The other day, my mom was arguing with my sister while she was at work about the whole thing and really didn't look to keep things level. For context, my sister has a form of epilepsy that can be triggered in high-stress scenarios. I chose to stay quiet for the time being since it isn't my conversation, but my sister was absolutely destroyed about the entire thing when she got home. Not you, your parents. And I let her vent to me and show me what she said. All my sister did was show exactly why she couldn't do the days my parents were wanting her to be there. There was no animosity, no name-calling, no aggression whatsoever. My mother was the one taking the swings. I was understandably angry, but my sister and I agreed I'd stay out of it, strictly because if they see we're showing what each person is receiving via text message, it wouldn't go well. It didn't when we were all living together, and it never works even to this day. Yesterday morning came, and I woke up to a long-form text from my mother saying that she'd like to take me to the town for a day, then take me up to the shipyard in Seattle to see if the commute would be doable. Honestly, I've been stressed about the commute after I started looking it up. My usual start time in the field I'm working in is at 5 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m. It just mainly depends on what the hours per project are. This means I would have to get up at around midnight just to take care of their 3 large dogs in the morning. Make sure they're fed, then check up on their cats. Then lock everything up before I leave. Then driving 4 hours to work, a full manual labor job. After that, I'd have to make that same 4-hour drive back down south, only this time it's in rush hour traffic all the way down I-5. That 4-hour commute, it just turned into 6 hours. This means, in theory, I wouldn't even be back at their house until 7 to 8:30 at night, only to then do the same thing over again for another 3 days. I expressed that I don't think it would be safe for me to make that drive after looking it up. My mother then started to get short with me, and I asked if she was mad at me. Big mistake. It turned into this argument where I had to then explain what everyone in this house has been explaining for over a week now. And I finally let loose on how I felt about how she spoke to my sister, knowing full well of her condition. So right before Thanksgiving, the day before my birthday, and right at the start of the holidays, I was told to go straight to heck. I thought that was the end of it, but due to me being the only Android user in the house, I didn't see the audio messages my father had sent to the group chat, which stated in shorter terms that we were all insolent, entitled brats, and that from now till the end of lease, we are only in a landlord-to-tenant relationship. You all had better follow that lease agreement to the letter of the law, and at the end of it, I'm selling the house. Now all of you have to figure it out. You made adult decisions, now you deal with the adult consequences. Your parents are crazy.
Yeah, what? I mean, like, what would
Your parents are selling the house because you guys couldn't watch the dogs?
literally and the cats and I don't know. Is there a parrot in there? I feel like there
That's
should be.
crazy.
Like that's and it's like now you don't get the deed to my house. I hate you guys.
Like, what? Drama. The last little dagger I got yesterday was pretty cruel, too. I won't go into specifics, but my unemployment checks I've been getting are substantially less than what I regularly make at the shipyard. But my unemployment checks I've been getting are substantially less than what I regularly make at the shipyard I work at. Because of that, I've had to prioritize bills, my car payments, and I've had an arrangement with my parents that I'd make a split payment of rent, half each week. I notified them I'd have to make a similar arrangement this coming month because of the bills I have to pay. I was told prior that the late rent fee would be waived since I notified them earlier, and it wouldn't be a problem. However, magically, it's now an issue, and I'm to include it in my late rent payment. I haven't spoken to them since yesterday, and my sister, her fiancé, and I are going to be trying to come up with what to do in respect for living arrangements and trying to talk to my parents in order to try and figure this out in a diplomatic fashion. Today is now my birthday, and they're posting on my timeline as if nothing from the last week has ever happened. I've never really felt more alone than today. I just want to know, am I the a-hole? And there is an update 7 days later, but what do you think?
I don't think so. I really don't think that
No.
you're the a-hole, OP. I feel like it's hard. Like, obviously, you don't want to let your parents down and whatnot, but it also just stinks because, like, you're driving, like, so long and so far. Like, are they paying for gas? Are they paying for you to stay? Like, I mean, you're not really, not that you have to get anything out of it, but, you know, at least, like, something, you know, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. Like, I just don't get why, like, it doesn't make sense, like, thematically, like, just thinking about it. Like, it really doesn't. From, like, trying to make this work to, like, why don't you just have your neighbor or
Literally
someone?
anyone else,
Like-
rather than your daughter who has to drive 6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours is crazy,
Back and
especially with,
forth.
like, yeah.
That's
Like,
impossible.
for how many, like, 4 days or something like
yeah,
that?
12 hours a day.
Yeah, that's an insane amount.
Well, I guess more like 10 hours a day because it's 4 hour in the morning, but
yeah.
10 hours a day for 4 days.
Yeah, I couldn't. I don't like it.
7 days later. So last week, literally the day of me posting the a-hole post and also on my birthday, crap hit the fan. It all started when my dad decided to call me and my roommates, sister and her fiance. I kept it professional per his request of being landlord to tenant till the end of the lease. He did not like that and started yelling at me over the phone for involving myself in a conversation that didn't include me. I pushed on, keeping my cool, and tried to set up a day where we could all meet in person and discuss boundaries. We decided on a day. He briskly hangs up, then calls me again. Apparently, he's confused that we're setting up a day for all 3 of us roommates to talk when the discussion was meant for you and your sister. I responded, well, seeing as this pertains to the potential non-extension of the lease, I figured that we would also have to include our third. I figured that would have to also pertain to our third roommate. He didn't like that. He started yelling at me about how I addressed my mother over text. The text show I was just trying to discuss how none of us would have been able to do it, even though my mother was adamant that we were lying. I then go off on him against my better judgment about how they were wearing down my sister, who's a known stress-based epileptic. His response, get the F out of my house, pack your crap, hangs up. So understandably, I'm a little mad. I let them know I was kicked out, and I went upstairs to vent to my best friend and figure out what to do. My sister then gets spam called by my mother, who is yelling at her over the phone, and her fiance and I decide to take the phone outside to try and calm my mother down. Again, she didn't like that. For context, my sister was diagnosed as a child with pubescent epilepsy initially. Basically, it's a cyst that grows on a reproductive organ and can send neurons to the brain, then triggering a seizure due to the overload. Later on, at the age of 20, it was found that she actually can get her seizures from elevated levels of stress. and that if she were having any signs of a panic attack, we were to separate her from the situation and get her calmed down as quickly as possible in order to avoid a seizure. This was one of the stressful situations we were warned about from her neurologist. And so, over much talking over her and trying to coax her to actually listen to us, our mother decided that she would threaten calling emergency services to check up on her if she's so bad off. We actually agreed with her doing this because at this point, my sister was crumpled on the floor, hyperventilating, crying her eyes out. She hangs up on us, and I go to call my best friend again to try and make sense of this whole thing. All of a sudden, the doorbell rings non-stop. It's my mother. I crack the door, asking what she wanted, and she pushes me out of the way. Storms her way up the stairs and gestures at the upstairs common room, all high and mighty. By the way, the upstairs wasn't dirty or unsanitary. The only issue was some cleaning supplies on the kitchen counter and some dog hair on the floor from my all-black German Shepherd, who, yes, sheds a lot. She starts yelling at me over the condition of the upstairs and goes on a tirade on how it makes sense I have no one over with how the house is. Literally had multiple friends come over an hour or so later. No one complained about the state of the upstairs area, and were in fact in disbelief at how my mother conducted herself. Later on, she tells me to get my daughter, and to no surprise to anyone, she's already with her fiancé, overnight bags packed and leaving around the back to go to his car and get out of there because they were understandably scared. I tried to get her to come this way while setting up my phone to record video only because I was concerned for our safety and I didn't know how things were going to go. I set the phone to record, thanks Motorola for making an easily concealable phone by folding it in half. And my sister reluctantly comes back to the front deck, choking back tears. My mother starts wailing into her verbally, spouting insults and yelling at her, and it gets to the point that she collapses into the door, about to fall over. I rush to her, help her to sit down on the stairs, and get her to breathe as easily as she can. I then turn to my mom and simply say, "This is what you're doing to her. Welfare check my butt." My mom starts unloading on me, then I hear a familiar voice on her speakerphone. My dad is asking for me. She tosses me the phone, and I head upstairs to lay into my dad about what just happened. Apparently, he had no knowledge of her intending on coming to the house, and he's trying to separate me from the conversation to not add more tension. I called his con and told him that we were trying to handle things diplomatically and respectfully, and then our mother decided to show up unannounced and berate my sister in person, let alone over the phone. At this point, they get out of the house, and I'm following close behind, hand Mom her phone back and go to the car. Mom's right behind, starts beating on the window since she wasn't finished. Then she goes into her car, backs up, boxing my sister's fiancé car in. She then fakes calling the cops. Mind you, we didn't know she faked it. I saw her dial it and hit call. She then says they need EMS to check on my sister, and she'd like an officer to see me about being belligerent. Yes, she pulled the, "Yes, Ryan Gosling, my boy won't eat his broccoli." So basically faking, she's like, "Hello, police? My daughter is being belligerent. Send someone over. Stat." Oh, how am I doing? I'm all right. Oh, I hope that sounds nice. Yeah, that would be really good. Well, yeah, we could do dinner. That's what she's doing.
Whoa, Mom's cheating with them.
Yeah.
That's
cheating.
what happened.
She then leaves in a huff, peeling out of the driveway, and I make dang sure she's gone. I then go back to their car, ask them to roll it down. The thing is, I think your sister needs to, you have to have a conversation with your sister, or she needs to go to therapy about wanting to please her parents, because what should have happened is she should have gotten the car with her fiance, which is what she had done, and left. But she came back, which she shouldn't have done, because that just puts everything in a really tense situation, is worse for her and her health. I think, we need to go no contact with these parents.
I can understand, trying to, get parents' approval.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. But when it comes to, something that is toxic and, harmful to you, then you can't. You have to separate yourself.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not worth it.
No.
For your own health and, mental health.
Mhm.
It's, obviously it affected her so much that she had a physical reaction.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
No.
And also to do that to a daughter is, crazy.
Ridiculous. I then go back to their car, ask them to roll it down, let them know they might want to stay for when EMS arrives, and potentially for if I end up getting booked on some BS charge. Apparently, fiance's sister actually ended up calling the cops as well. So either way, unit was coming by, and he did. Sheriff Deputy, you were awesome. Thank you for hearing us out and giving us the best advice to go forward. Fast forwarding a bit, cop came, did the welfare check, talked with us on next steps since they couldn't evict us like they tried to do, and to potentially seek other housing arrangements by the time the lease wraps up. All of these we're already doing, thanks to some dire foresight. The next day, my mom calls me at 6 in the morning, fakes an apology, breaks down crying because she feels like we all attacked her, and how she was the one who should have felt unsafe. I kept an even tone and told her I didn't want to discuss this with her anymore. By the way, I need to discuss with you guys that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I just think that it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as much as like they got mad
Yeah.
at what for not house sitting, right?
They got mad at her for everything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm like
the
trying to
start
think of
was
all of it.
the start was, hey, could you watch the dogs?
Yeah,
All of this started because OP couldn't watch her parents' dogs.
that was 6 hours away.
That was 6 hours ago.
That was 6 hours ago.
It
and
feels
6
like
hours
6
away.
hours ago we found out that she couldn't watch the dogs, and now we're finding out like that her parents are insane and they
Yeah.
had to call the cops on them. Birthday was ruined at that point, and I have no intention of trying to rebuild it. Oh. And that day it was Thanksgiving. No. Dad sends a lease notice about the lease not being renewed and then tried to call a house inspection for Saturday the 29th in order to evaluate the property for the future sale when the lease wraps up. I requested it to be extended, which got approved, but again, I just feel like he's trying to weaponize the lease since it's the last thing he can hold over my head due to my disrespect and disobedience. There's way more that happened since then, including an ever-evolving mental spiral, because my parents are gaslighting me into feeling like I'm the primary stressor of the family, and now all of this is my fault. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? And that's the end of that story.